Bellator Nation, follow us across a large array of digital platforms and stay up to date on everything you need to know. Like us on the Bellator Facebook page and see exclusive videos. Follow us and get instant updates on Twitter at Bellator MMA and get a chance to have your tweet live on the broadcast. See amazing pictures on Instagram at Bellator MMA. Join Bellator Nation today.
The epic finale of the Featherweight World Grand Prix is here. Legendary 145-pound champ Patricio Pitbull.
Pure dominance.
Collides with the undefeated AJ Mercenary McKee.
The longest win streak in Bellator history.
For $1 million on the world title. Bellator MMA, live tonight on Showtime, where warriors rule.
After spending a year at the Mohegan Sun, Bellator MMA is back on the road here in lovely Inglewood, California, where we have a stacked card from top to bottom, and it all goes down right here inside the Forum. Well, tonight, the most anticipated fight in Bellator history, where the belt and $1 million is on the line in the finals of the Featherweight World Grand Prix. Now, undefeated phenom AJ McKee will square off with Bellator's champ, Patricio Pitbull. Welcome into Bellator 263. I am Jen Brown, and joining me at the fight desk tonight is the former two-time world champ, Josh Thompson, as always, and our first ever champ, the current heavyweight champ, Ryan Bader. Welcome back to the desk, Bader.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
You did a great job. We decided to have you come back.
I love it. Here I am.
All right, well, we started with 16 of the best featherweights in the world, guys. We are now down to the final two. Ryan, is this who you thought we would see in the finals when you saw the brackets?
Yeah, definitely. You know, looking at both sides, those are the two guys I thought I'd see in the finals, hoping that we'd see this matchup. You know, if they were both on the same side, you know, I think we'd see that matchup anyway, but it wouldn't be as sweet, you know, because we're sitting here for the $1 million, for the belt, you know, and it's hours away. I'm excited.
It is. We're so excited. You know, Josh, what's really interesting, I think we should point out to the fans at home, is that while this was the finals that everybody really kind of wanted to see, the fight fans that is, it might not have happened because there was the selection show, and it's so interesting that we ended up with these two, considering they got to pick who their second round opponent was.
Yeah, what happened was AJ had previously fought, say, a month or two before, and so he was chomping at the bit to get busy again and to make some money, and that's usually happens to young fighters. But Patricio had fought on that card against Juan Archuleta, and when he'd done that, then that means that he wanted to push it out to the last show. So he waited to find out what the selection was. He got the pick last, and he picked the latest date to make sure.
Well, real quick, when we saw these two at the weigh-ins yesterday, there's one thing, you know, you see is it's when they square off, it's the height difference, right? You know, AJ McKee, he's got 4 inches when it comes to height. But the thing that really stands out on paper is the reach advantage. He's got an 8-inch reach. Josh, is that going to be a factor tonight?
I would normally say yes, but Patricio is always the shorter fighter. He's always probably lacking in the length as well as everyone he's ever fought. So when you're talking about will he be used to, absolutely. He's dealt with this his whole career. The one equalizing factor he has, though, is that power. And now that he's learned how to settle down in that pocket and wait for you to step in and commit, overcommit sometimes, and capitalize, people have found out the punching power is true, it's legit, and he's put the lights out on many of top-level fighters.
Absolutely. It's all about how AJ uses his reach and his speed. If he's on the outside coming in, hitting him with jabs, moving, or is he coming in, extending himself and getting hit by Pitbull? that's not going to be good. So he needs to use, the first approach, going in, stick and move.
Well, they say styles makes fights. I am so excited for this matchup. That's our main event coming up later tonight on Showtime at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. For more on this matchup, let's bring in the rest of our broadcast team. Big John McCarthy, Mauro Ranallo. Great to see you guys on the road down there, huh? You've got fans.
Absolutely. It's going to be a memorable night. And to paraphrase Tupac, after all, we are in California, BJM. All eyes on Bellator MMA tonight, and with good reason. The winner of the main event could legitimately stake a claim to being the best featherweight on the planet.
No doubt about it. You take a look, especially with what Patricio Pitbull has done as a champion and the run that he's been on. He's been incredible, and no one has stopped AJ McKee. So although AJ is a young fighter just at 26 years of age, 17-0, and if he beats Pitbull, man, he's beating one of the very best there is in the sport of MMA.
The matchup speaks for itself. We didn't really need any additional hype, but things got heated at the press conference this week.
Well, things did get heated at the press conference, and really what happens, as a fighter, you're allowed to talk to your opponent. You're allowed to say all kinds of things about what you're going to do to them and all that. That's okay. But there is that line. You do not start to bring in family, and both of them did that. Patricio did it first, and then AJ decided, I'm going to come back with it. We draw that line. Don't bring in religion. Don't bring in family. You want to say what you're going to say about that person, what you're going to do, that's fine. They get a chance to step in that cage and punch you in the mouth for it. The families, keep them out of it.
Save the chaos for the cage. Inspired by the legendary combat sports tournaments in Japan, these World Grand Prix in Bellator MMA have definitely lived up to the hype, and it doesn't get any bigger than Pitbull versus McKee coming up later tonight in the final of the $1 million Featherweight World Grand Prix. And boy, we've got a great lineup for you coming up at Bellator 263 main card. A laundry list of lightweight fights. We've got Goichi Yamauchi, the #5 ranked lightweight, as he takes on the undefeated Chris Gonzalez. Former Bellator MMA lightweight champion Brent Primus hopes to spoil the Bellator MMA debut of the highly touted Usman Nurmagomedov. And Usman Nurmagomedov hopes to go to 13-0 against the double tough Manny Muro. And in the co-feature, former two-time title challenger at 145, Emmanuel Sanchez wants to remain in the mix. But Mads Burnell, reeling off 6 consecutive victories, he's knocking at the door of a title opportunity. And our prelims here at the LA Forum, we kick off the action with bantamweight battle with Brian Moore taking on Jordan Amgonowinski. You'll be hard-pressed to find a better nickname.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome our first fighter of the evening, Jordan Amgonowinski.
And Jordan Amgonowinski has in fact winskied 11 times in his career, Big John. He is 11-2, and now stepping into the Shark Tank that is Bellator MMA, making his first walk to the Bellator MMA cage. 3 knockouts, 3 submissions, representing the legendary Dan Henderson, who was, by the way, the first champ in MMA history back in the Pride Fighting Championship days. He's a member of Team Quest, and man, what a history there.
There is a huge history of Team Quest, starting off with Matt Lindland, Randy Couture, and Dan Henderson. Then Dan moving that school, his part of the school, down in Temecula. I'm just telling you right now, this young man right here has fought very good competition. UFC veterans like Terrion Ware, Bellator veterans like Mike Hamill. This kid can fight.
And now we welcome his opponent, Brian "The Pikeman" Moore.
Representing the SBG Ireland gym, Brian Moore, the 33-year-old who is 4-3 here in Bellator MMA, and one of the few fighters to actually buzz AJ McKee, who of course is going to be vying for the featherweight title and the Grand Prix championship and the $1 million bonus. But let's take a look at Brian Moore in action.
Well, this is Brian Moore. You can see he gets buzzed right here, but he just stands his ground. I call him the Irish Canelo because he throws. Look at that shot he takes. He's in trouble, but he comes back in the fight, takes over the fight, and puts away his opponent. He has got big power in his hands. He throws a beautiful right hand. Look at that. And he goes to the body just like that red-headed guy named Canelo.
A training partner of the notorious Conor McGregor, and looking to, well, make it 3 wins in a row as we take a look at the numbers in our opening contest here at Bellator 263.
Take a look. The records are very close as far as the amount of fights ahead. 33 years of age to 32 years of age. Both of these men can fight. This should be a good way to start it off.
Here is the intergalactic voice of Bellator MMA, Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome, as tonight Bellator MMA is back at the Forum in Inglewood, California for a night that kicks off now here at Bellator 263 with 3 5-minute rounds in the bantamweight division. Introducing the blue corner at 5'9", weighing in 134.7 pounds. His professional record, 11 wins, 2 losses. By way of Waterford, Wisconsin, he fights out of Marietta, California. Introducing Jordan, I'm gonna Winsky. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 5'8", weighing in 135.8 pounds. As a professional, 13 victories, 7 defeats from County Wexford, Ireland, presenting Brian the Pikeman Moore. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge, Frank Trigg.
My former Pride Fighting Championships broadcast partner, now a veteran referee, Frank Trigg, will oversee these 2 135ers.
Ready? Ready? Fight!
The belt and round 1, Brian Moore in the red gloves. Jordan, I'm gonna Winsky in the blue gloves.
Beautiful straight jab by Brian. Right there, Pikeman Moore. He has got heavy hands. Jordan needs to be very careful how many shots he takes.
Yeah, he told us that in his last fight, he showed good composure, heart, and knockout power, and they get up close and personal in a hurry here. No feeling out process whatsoever. And you don't expect it from the bantamweights. They are as speedy and quick to get with it as any division, John.
And you also don't expect it from Brian Moore, who loves to stand on his feet and throw hands. Very unusual for him to come in. He didn't receive any damage, so it's not that he was hurt. He just decides he wants to get into a grappling exchange.
4 of his previous 7 wins by knockout or submission have come in the opening round. Meanwhile, Jordan Winsky taking a 2-fight win streak into his Bellator MMA debut.
Brian doing a very good job with double underhooks. He's able to control the arms of Jordan Winsky right now. He's got that body, as far as that body lock you're looking at, he has the ability to control Winsky's body, bring him to the ground, keep him in the stand-up. He's in control of this fight right now against the cage.
Just over a minute gone in the first frame. Winsky taking the fight on short notice, seizing the opportunity of a lifetime, and now trying to get this fight off the fence. Meanwhile, Moore tenaciously trying to search for a way to continue to administer punishment, attacking the inside of the right leg with those knee strikes.
Bring you guys up. And what they're looking for is they're looking for Brian Moore, the guy with the advantage, to actually sit and do something with that advantage. If they don't, the referee, that's when he'll come in and separate both fighters.
And Frank Trigg has warned them that he's going to do just that. Moore telling us this is the most prepared and confident he has ever been approaching a fight.
Work on a separation. Finish separation.
Nice job, Jordan.
A bit of a stalemate here against the fence, and referee Trigg agrees.
Let's go.
LA for him, and boy, it's always good to hear the soundtrack courtesy of the fans. And again, they are wearing masks adhering to LA County COVID protocols as Winsky comes forward with a 1-2 that missed just out of range, John.
Brian Moore talked about he has never been in better shape than he is for this fight. You can tell just by the way he's moving, the way he's looking to cut that angle off on Jordan Winsky, and just the speed factor right now is working to his advantage.
Calf kick delivered by Winsky, a naked calf kick, and there is John Kavanagh, the leader of SBG Ireland, the man instrumental in the meteoric rise of the biggest draw in MMA history, Conor McGregor, as this fight continues to percolate. Nice right hand over the top there, John, by Winsky on the exit.
It was, but it was a beautiful right hand counter by Brian Moore just before. So both of them are landing. That right hand on both of them is finding its mark.
Moore switching stances.
That's the whole fight.
Orthodox, trying to establish the jab. Back to the center of the cage where he gets momentarily buzzed by Jordan Winsky.
Again with that right hand that you were talking about.
1 minute 20.
Hey, if he's representing Dan Henderson's Team Quest, he better have a version of the H-bomb. Moore just missing with that lead right uppercut from distance. Nice counter right hand by Moore.
Very nice counter right hand. And that lead right uppercut, that's when we talk about overextending.
Yes.
Catching yourself in a position. You go for something like that, there's nothing before it, so you can get caught. Nice left hook, right hand again. Sorry, by Winsky.
Final minute of the opening round.
You can see by Moore's movement, that right hand, he
good,
felt it.
Good counter again by Moore with that short right hand. And man, terrific stuff to get this opening 5 minutes started, as we've seen a little bit of everything, including a stalemate. It may have been a slow start, but the action has definitely picked up. Under 30 seconds left in the opening round.
This has definitely been a battle of the right hands. Who's landed the harder right hands in this round?
Who's going to land the Nick Cave red right hand?
Seat there if you want. Not reacting a whole lot to those feints there, yeah? So when you're backing them up, just jab and then the low kick. The overhand right's working well. Watch for the counter right, okay? So when you bang them, we roll, bang them, slide back out to the right, jab, slide back out to the right, okay? He's loading up just on one right hand. I don't think he's
going to cross with him. Jab with him. His hand is low. You start hitting that cross, double it up. Yeah, it was beautiful. You're moving well. You're just getting hit too much right now, okay? It was a close round, but he won it. I want you to...
It's out,
Yeah.
Let's go, clear.
Here comes the right hand by Winsky. You see where it just slides off. Doesn't land real solid, but it connects. Brian Moore had probably the better shots overall. Beautiful right hand to the right side of the face, which is something you don't see a lot. Normally it's to the left, but both of them landing good shots. I would say that Brian Moore got a little bit of advantage in that round.
Bell and round two. And great corner work by both camps. And there's a calf kick by Moore and the counter jab by Winsky.
That lower calf kick that you just saw Brian Pikeman Moore land, that's the type of kick that will change the fight with only a couple of those landing. Winsky's going to have to figure out a way to check that kick and not absorb any more of those.
Beautiful jab, right uppercut combination by Brian Moore, and then lands the calf kick inside.
Take a look at the movement of Winsky already based on 2 calf kicks.
Oh, he's already stumbling and staggering and limping, John.
Exactly.
Desperately, but a wise move by Winsky, going for the shot, but the sprawl by Moore, and Moore now in top position in half guard.
3 calf kicks more when it changed the complexion of the fight. You saw those land. Those changed everything that Jordan Winsky was doing. That's why he shot for that takedown.
And that's why the calf kick has become the kick in MMA.
It is the tool that if you are good at it, you can change the fight quickly, just like you saw from Brian Moore.
Here's everything. Throw that kick down, Brian. Hold it.
And this is when you look at this position right here. A lot of times in modern MMA, guys are using the fence to get back, but right now Winski doesn't want to get back to his feet. He doesn't want to absorb any more of those calf kicks. So Brian Moore being smart to use the actual fence to keep him in position so he can use ground and pound.
Winski controlling Moore's posture after tasting some of that long-range ground and pound. And it's Moore more than doubling up Winski in terms of total strikes landed.
That's right. Get your guard back.
Moore using a good forearm across the face. A lot of pressure on that arm when it's going across Winski's face.
Trying to restrict his breathing.
Yes, in the half guard. This is a position very difficult to get out of against the cage because you want to move your hips out or you want to slide to get that leg inside to get your elevator. Not a lot of room for you.
We are coming up on the midway point of the round and the fight. Brian Moore grinding away on Jordan Winski. Momentarily back to a wide base, now back to the ground, working from the open, now closed, well, still open half guard of Winski, who is pinned up against the fence with nowhere to go, Joe.
Yeah, well, it's an open half guard based upon the positioning of Brian Moore. He's being very heavy on top as far as hip pressure. He's bringing his hips forward, and he's using his forearm to put a lot of pressure to keep Winski's head down against the cage.
Short forearm strikes, looking to slash away at the forehead with the elbow was Brian Moore.
Good.
We have 2 minutes remaining in the second round, a round that's been controlled and dominated by Brian Moore.
Nice slashing elbow, left elbow by Brian Moore. Right now, he's feeling very comfortable in this fight. Notice his head position over the top of Winski. That gives him a lot of control.
That butterfly hooked there by Winski, who desperately just trying to create space, trying somehow to bring this fight back to its feet. But Brian Moore is doing a tremendous job of stymieing him, smothering him, and man, forcing him to expend a lot of energy as well.
There's a lot of energy going out by Winski based upon just carrying a lot of weight. All of those shots you're seeing, those short elbows and the pressure of that forearm on him.
And those elbow strikes to the head of Winski by Moore, now posturing up.
You want to back away, he can't stand.
Yeah, you saw Winski was going for the underhook. He got the underhook, but he wasn't able to move more based upon Moore keeping his head up over the top of him against that cage. So he's going to have to figure out a different way. Right now, with that left arm, you see holding the head of Brian Moore. Jordan Winski is going nowhere.
Final 45 seconds of the second round. Right hands to the body by Moore. Winski trying to control the posture, and yet Moore still able to deliver short elbow strikes to the forehead. There's one to the ear. 30 seconds left in the round. Moore mauling Winski here in the second stanza.
Work that left elbow, Brian.
And you just saw Winski putting his foot on the cage. He's allowed to put his foot on there. He's allowed to walk that cage. He just can't hold his position with his toes in the fence.
Winski is going to have to make a dramatic comeback.
Let's take a look at some of the replays on this. This is how Brian Moore started. Take a look at that low calf kick. That was a solid calf kick. Does it again. Look at the motion on Winski right away. Don't think that Brian Moore doesn't see it. Goes right back to the well. Sees that he puts him down. Sees that gate. Winski shoots for the takedown. Smart move by Winski, but he wasn't able to get the top position. And from that point, Brian Moore just opened up with a solid ground and pound attack. A lot of elbow strikes that landed.
Leg hook, Brian. He's hobbling, Brian. Just get out of the way of that right. Yes, Brian. Keep him on the fence. Sprawl. Get that right hip out. Push. Cover his head. Cover his head.
Highly invested.
I love that. The mask is coming off, everything.
Tremendous.
How invested are they?
Class act, John Cavanaugh.
Yes, he is.
Ready?
Jordan Winski's really going to have to do something in this round.
Third and final round, both looking for their third consecutive victory, and Brian Moore again.
That calf kick has devastated Jordan Winski. He is now a one-legged fighter, basically.
And yet, a game Winski coming forward and delivering punches.
Well, he's game, but notice his stance right now. Look how square he is.
Very
which only opens him up to all of the attacks that Brian Moore has.
And there's a straight right hand down the pipe by Moore. And he is feeling confident, lead right hand.
And you can tell that Jordan Winski is not confident in switching stance to a southpaw. He is not comfortable with that. That's why he's square right now. That is not a good place to be in a fight.
And Moore continues to tag. Winski, lead right uppercut, just grazing the chin. But you know, the third time could be the harm, John.
Oh, absolutely. Most of the time when you're watching Brian Moore, notice when he comes in, he's also circling to the right to stay away from the right hand of Winski. Smart movement.
And now he has gone southpaw and eats a bunch of punches for his effort.
Yeah, he is not comfortable in that stance. You can tell he's not comfortable because he can't be offensive.
Winski's foundation has been cracked by those cavalcade of calf kicks by Brian Moore. Winski still coming forward, but Moore just missing.
Yeah, and Moore did what we were talking about. Instead of moving to his right, he started moving to his left, right into the power and right hand of Jordan Winski.
Another inside calf kick by Moore delivers the lead right hand, just measuring up Winski and tags him again with the right cross.
That was a beautiful right hand that landed flush.
A three-punch combination lands upstairs for Moore.
And again, Moore, when he throws those combinations, he should be stepping off to his right.
Jump it, Brian, jump it. Nice jab. Check it.
Winski trying to check those kicks before having his head popped back by that jab.
Follow it up, Jordan. Follow it up.
That jab going. That's it. Too long. Stick to it, Brian. Just hold it up. That lead hand. Slide it there. Get ready to slide.
Mouse under the left eye of Brian Moore. Don't know if it was the result of a punch or...
That was a punch. It's just a scratch that ended up right on his cheekbone.
Oh, sticks the stiff jab again. Moore, and both of them miss with right hands.
There again, you saw Brian Moore coming off to his left. That puts him in a position for Winski to actually load up and land that right hand.
2 minutes left in this final round of what has been a compelling contest contested at bantamweight. The Bellator MMA debut of Jordan Winski, who was definitely limping, definitely feeling the effects of this firestorm of kicks by Moore. And that right hand has been money all night.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian Moore's got a beautiful jab. When he sets down on it, he hits that jab and then follows it up with the right cross.
And Winski, partly because of his compromised lower limbs, he's standing right in front of Moore, not moving, no head movement, and he's right there for the targeted attack. 90 seconds remaining in this fight. Oh, nice right hand by Winski. That was moving backwards. Nice on the exit.
There you go. Again, Brian Moore attacks the leg. Jordan Winski cannot take many more. You can see he's trying to keep the weight off his leg. He can't control his balance point with that leg at this point. It's kind of dead on him.
And the collar tie delivered a knee strike, so remains active, but is being picked apart, being systematically dismantled by Brian Moore, who said he has never been more prepared and confident going into a fight, and it shows.
Beautiful counter, check left hook right there by Brian Moore. He's totally in control of this. He's totally in control because of the damage he's done to Jordan Winski in the fight.
Back him up, back him up. 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Under 30 seconds remaining, John, and Winski trying desperately to find some way to launch a Hail Mary, but without that foundation, without the source of the power, John, it's not going to help him at all.
No, it's not. It really takes away from him. Right now, Winski is a one-handed fighter because that left leg, he's having a hard time other than the jab. He can't throw any power into his hook.
But yet, he's competing, desperately trying to just stay in the fight, show hard, show that maybe he deserves deserves another crack at a Bellator MMA fight, but he was cracked all night long by Brian Moore.
Yes, he was, but that was a gutsy performance.
Yes, and a terrific fight.
Good job.
What impressed you the most by Brian Moore? To me, obviously, calf kicks and that right hand, but what are some of the intangibles that you noticed?
The intangibles that Brian Moore was doing. You broke your foot?
Wow.
He's saying that he broke his foot in the first round. Well, he didn't show it because he kept going back to the well on that calf kick.
Unbelievable.
But what you really have to be impressed with from Brian Moore was he stuck with that jab, the overhand, and it was the basic change from the first round into the second, third was the movement away from the right hand. Take a look at these kicks. This is what changed the course of the fight. This was in the second round, and you see those kicks, you start seeing Jordan Nowinski, instead of being a bladed fighter, he starts fighting square, and he's doing that based upon he doesn't want that leg out there to be abused again by Brian Moore. And you see just the hands coming by Brian Moore. Touch, 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 all very smart. Don't worry about loading up, just touching. Beautiful jab again by the Pike man. Outstanding performance by Brian Moore. Take a look at those stats, Morrow.
Amen to that. More than double the strikes landed, and really it was a one-sided affair for Brian Moore, but as you said, a valiant, gutsy effort by the debuting Jordan Nowinski. We shall find out who is victorious. Smiling Sam Alvey in Nowinski's corner. Win or lose, he's always smiling.
That is Sam Alvey. Good man.
He is. And a good start to Bellator 263. Bellator bantamweight boss man, of course, Sergio Pettis, and these two bantamweights go the distance. Let's get the official decision now from Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go now to your three judges at cage side. Your first judge, Sal D'Amato, scores the fight 30-27, while judges Chris Crail and Jackie Dinkins both seed exactly the same, 30-26. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Brian the Pikeman Moore.
Brian Pikeman Moore put it on. A courageous Jordan Nowinski, but it was Brian Moore who is, well, garnering the Nowinski tonight, and 3 consecutive wins. And all kidding aside, Brian Moore, who's been in there with the likes of A.J. McKee, who, of course, is going to be in our much-anticipated main event. He's a player to watch.
He is. The big thing about Brian Moore is he's had hand problems. He breaks his hands in the fights. Now he's telling him he might have broke the foot. But when this guy is in there, he throws down. He's got good movement. He's got good power. And you see he utilizes the tools that he is best at. That's what gets him the win.
Irish Eye smiling tonight, just like Sam Alvey. Let's go to Jen Brown.
Well, thanks, Roy. Hey, impressive win there by Brian Moore, especially with that injured foot. All right, well, we have got a fantastic fight card coming up later tonight on Showtime, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific. $1 million is on the line tonight, and we will finally crown the winner of the Featherweight World Grand Prix. Of course, undefeated phenom. He's taken on Bellator's best pound-for-pound fighter in Patricio Pitbull. But it's our co-main event where we've got 2 featherweights looking to continue to move up in the rankings. The 8th-ranked Mats Burnell will face the 2nd-ranked Emmanuel Sanchez. And for more on that, let's head across the pond to Bellator's London office and our very own Gareth A. Davies.
Styles make fights, as they say, and Mads Burnell faces Emmanuel Sanchez in a featherweight contest tonight, pitching a submission artist against a brilliant brawler, which could light up the forum with more chin music than all the great bands that have played at the iconic venue. Burnell of Denmark has claimed victory in both of his Bellator appearances to date. He will be looking to get hands on his rival tonight, aiming for a 10th career submission victory. Not an easy task, with Sanchez, a 10-year veteran and 2-time Bellator featherweight title challenger, eager himself to bounce back from a defeat to Patricio Pitbull in the Grand Prix semi-final. Always dangerous, Sanchez, with his heavy-handed attacks. Watch out for his fast transition game as well. Sanchez will want to dominate the Dane on a huge night for both men. We cannot wait for this one. A true test of will. and skill.
Well, it will be a true test of will and skill. That's right. Now, Mads Burnell, he's very good on the ground, you guys. 9 of his 15 wins, they have come by submission. Josh, you've rolled with him. You spend time on the mat with him. What makes him so dangerous on the ground?
Well, he's really good at his Japanese necktie, which a lot of people use the half guard sit up to get up from that position. So when you do that, you fall right into that Japanese necktie. And the way he grips it and the way he does it is different than most. And so it actually feeds really well because of the gloves. So he locks it down a little bit better that way, as well as his arm guillotine and his northern guillotine. He also has learned to hit the darce and the submissions from all these positions. What he does, he also, when he gets to side control, he kind of baits you into putting you back into half guard so he can get there. And we've seen from his last couple performances, when he gets to the back, he is dominant as well. His ground and pound is good. He's heavy on top. He's got heavy hips. And he's just very dynamic when it comes to all of his grappling all around. When he gets to that top position, he got good pressure, good submissions, and he's very tricky at baiting you where he wants you to go, Ryan.
And then something like knowing that he's very good at Japanese necktie. You're thinking about the whole time, and then you get caught in something else, or he transitions to your back.
Ask Josh. He knows a little something about that, don't you, Josh?
Hey, whoa, 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 whoa. What happens in the gym stays in the gym.
Well, let's talk about Sanchez, because he does have a very good submission game. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He trains with Rafael Lovato, who's a 4-time Brazilian jiu-jitsu world champion. But is that where he wants to be in this fight, is on the ground with Mads Burnell?
I don't think he wants to be on the ground. He shouldn't be too concerned about being on the ground, though. The thing is, though, is that why go to someone's strengths? I mean, Ryan, let's just say this. Why would I want to be on the ground? You're top-level wrestling. Why would I want to be on the ground with you knowing that that's your best attribute? Why, when I'm so good on the feet, I've got great cardio? Now, sure, he's got phenomenal submissions as well, but why be there in that person's best?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to. You know, if you end up there, that's fine, and you're confident that you could fight on the ground, on the feet. But Sanchez, I mean, he's just like a little tornado going in there. He should put the pressure on him right away, go in there, you know, make him tired. It's a 3-round fight, but start fast. That's what he's known for. Put the pressure on him and start working from there.
If he keeps Mads Burnell on his back foot, makes him take horrible shots, if he puts that pressure, makes him duck his head left to right, I think he can do it. Use that cardio to your advantage by pressing him to the fence and doing your dirty work.
Well, certainly known for that pace. Now, Sanchez, he's won 7 of his last 9 fights, so his only 2 losses have come to the champ, Patricio Pitbull. He told us this week that it's his fight IQ that has improved so much from being in the cage with the current champ 2 times, and he says that it's that will give him the advantage tonight. Will it be enough? We will find out later tonight. All right, let's get back to the fight action. Laura, back down to you.
All right, Jen, thank you very much. Set for action in the lightweight division. And we have the veteran Georgi Karakhanyan about to clash with Kiefer Crosbie.
And now ready to make his way to the cage, Kiefer BDK Crosbie. The veteran Georgi Insane Karakhanyan.
Georgi Karakhanyan, yeah, he's feeling some of that California love, a native of the Golden State. And a guy who's been around the block a few times, that he's formed a groove in the sidewalk, John. He is 30, 11, and 1 as a mixed martial artist, and is coming off a victory over Bryce Logan at Bellator 251 last November, a split decision.
Well, Georgi Karakhanyan has fought the who's who in MMA. This is a guy that was a World Series of Fighting champion. He has got a just incredible guillotine choke. You need to be very careful with your neck when you get close with him. He just needs to remain calm. I will tell you that I think he is a much better fighter at 155 in the lightweights than he ever was at 145. He cut too much weight.
And he loves fighting at lightweight, and I love hearing Big John McCarthy handle the tail of the tape.
Yeah, you tell the tape, this is the real thing. Look at all of the experience from Georgi Karakhanyan. 30-11-1, 8-2 for Kiefer. Will that experience be a difference in this fight?
Here's Michael C. Williams.
For those joining us tonight in the UK Live on BBC iPlayer, we welcome you inside the LA Forum as the Bellator 263 prelims now move to the lightweight division set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner. At 5'11", weighing in 155.9 pounds. His professional record, 8 wins, 2 losses. From North Inner City, Dublin, Ireland, presenting Kiefer BDK Crosbie. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner at 5'8", weighing in 155.6 pounds. As a professional, he brings 30 victories, 11 defeats, 1 draw. Originally hailing from Moscow, Russia, he fights out of Riverside, California, Georgi Karakhanyan. And when the bell rings, the ref in charge, Jason Herzog.
Referee Jason Herzog assigned to this lightweight battle. Georgi Karakhanyan 8-9 in Bellator MMA, while Kiefer Crosbie is 4-2. The bell and round 1. It's Karakhanyan in the red gloves, Crosbie in the blue, and immediately Karakhanyan goes for a calf kick. Surprise, surprise.
Amazing. Why would he do that? One of the things, you can take a look at the size. Kiefer came from the welterweight division, was kind of in a catch-weight position for a year and a half or so, trying to get himself down into the lightweight division. He has made it. We'll see if that makes a difference for him.
Sharp jab splitting the guard of the veteran Karakhanyan, and we talked about Crosby's last fight, a defeat, and he said it was a case of, again, a learning experience. His fight IQ increased, and you mentioned it.
It's all about fight IQ, Mauro. When you think you're going to get rid of somebody, there comes a point where you guys say, okay, this isn't going to happen. You can't just keep going to the point where now you've gassed yourself completely out. You're not going to rebound. That's what happened. He learned from it, and let's see what he does tonight.
It's interesting that Karakhanyan moving up from 145, Crosbie dropping from 170, and the size difference is evident, especially in a position like this.
Nice job by Kiefer to actually go for the back there. He had the double unders, and that's what you're looking for. You've got that position. Let's see you try to do something with a beautiful left elbow. Short, crisp elbow right across. Georgie felt that one.
Karakhanyan, member of Millennia MMA, and Romierum, as Karakhanyan looking to turn the tables and try for a single leg.
Your own position. Minute 45.
Nice knee to the thigh of Crosbie by Karakhanyan.
It wasn't a nice dig of the underhook by Crosbie to get himself off of the fence and put the back of Georgi Karakhanyan up against it, where he's now more in control.
2 minutes gone here in the first round, and both fighters earning every inch. Hammer fist to the thigh by Crosbie, and Karakhanyan returns a knee with a knee strike, and Crosbie doing a good job of stifling Karakhanyan's attempts at a takedown.
Well, one of the things, look at where Crosbie right here is actually gaining distance from Karakhanyan, so he's not accepting any damage in here. This is an exhausting type of fight. A lot of people don't understand it, but nice pull of the leg and trip by Kiefer Crosbie.
Anytime any fighter's against the fence, it is an exhausting experience.
Big right hand by Kiefer Crosbie, and a beautiful transition to the back.
And Crosbie with the back man looking for the choke on Karakhanyan. Karakhanyan back up to a wide base and looking for maybe a backdoor escape, but the grip is there for Crosbie.
Well, Crosby's got it.
Oh, did escape, and now it's Karakhanyan on top with the ground and pound as Crosbie tries to control posture.
Tries to control posture and grab the cage so he can move his body.
Only a referee would notice that.
But this is where you look and you say, okay, where are you strongest? And look, Georgie Karakhanyan is a black belt jiu-jitsu. He loves the ground. He will fight in the stand-up all day long, but he is good on the ground. So you need to be really careful about if you're gonna take him down. Think of controlling the position before you get too high and out of position, which is what Kiefer Crosbie did.
Half of Karakhanyan's 30 wins have come via submission for Kiefer Crosbie. He has 2 submissions on his ledger. And what a scramble, and what a grueling affair here in the opening round. Referee Herzog.
Referee Herzog is telling Kiefer Crosbie, quit grabbing the cage. Now, he hasn't been able to do anything with that because he's putting his hand up there and he's really not pulling out at that point, but he's hooking his fingers because he's looking to try to get away from Georgie, and he can't use that cage to do it.
And Karakhanyan looking for the arm triangle choke on the minute left in the first.
Kiefer needs to really push that other arm. He needs to push on that arm to get space.
Turning different states. And now looking at him, turning into him.
He's trying to gain that space. Good job pushing that arm away. Just a little bit of space will keep you there.
Oh, the struggle ends for Kiefer Crosbie, and Georgie Karakhanyan in front of the hometown faithful records a hard-fought submission victory as he improves to 31-11-1 with 16 submissions.
This is what I was talking about. You need to be very careful if you're going to go to the ground with Georgie. He has got a very good ground game. He has got great chokes, and he just pulled a big one off right there.
A man who was nicknamed insane by his own mother is going insane after that win.
Here you go. This is how the whole thing started with a takedown. You see that Georgie puts his foot up there to block. So Kiefer does a nice little trip, takes the outside reap, pulls him down to the ground. But there was then that point where he had his back, and here's where Georgie turned the tables on him. Got free of that leg and then spun inside of the guard. Now he's on top. And from this point right here, this is exactly when he had him. Look at where that setup is. You see that arm go across? He traps that right arm of Kiefer. Now it's just a matter of getting body position. He tries to come cross body. He keeps on working across all the way. Now he's on cross body, and it's just a matter of time before he gets that arm in place, gets the squeeze on right, where it's too much pressure and Kiefer cannot take it. You see him trying to squirm his way out, push the arm away, trying to gain that space. Not enough. There's your tap. Big win by Georgie Karakhanyan.
And out of his 16 submission victories, that's Karakhanyan's first via arm triangle. A big win for Georgie Karakhanyan, and enjoying life here at 155 pounds as he now records his second consecutive victory and looks to remain a veteran player here in the Bellator lightweight division. Began training many years ago. In fact, he has been around now for, well, 15th year, believe it or not, for Georgie Karakhanyan, a Brazilian jiu-jitsu black belt who used his submission skills to full effect tonight with an impressive win. We will now make it official with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, it comes to an end. 4 minutes, 25 seconds, round number 1. The tap by way of an arm triangle. The winner by submission, Georgie Karakhanyan.
All right, Georgie Karakhanyan exchanging some respect with Kiefer Crosbie. Again, a grueling battle, and Crosbie forced to tap out. And suffers his first submission loss. Big John McCarthy is standing by with the winner.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with your winner, Georgie Karakhanyan. Georgie, were you surprised that a guy that likes to come out and stand and strike from the outside usually decided to get into a clinch game and a wrestling and grappling match with you?
Absolutely. I seen his last fight. He's a brawler. Comes from a great gym, SPG Ireland. Those guys are animals. He was trying to break me with little talking, but it didn't affect me, brother. I have lots of experience. He said experience ain't shit, but experience is a lot, especially inside this octagon, inside this cage.
Too much experience, in fact, as far as you've been there, done that with everyone. Let's talk about the finish of that fight, because you went after the arm triangle, and you were on the offside, and it was all that experience of getting that slice over, getting your leg free. Talk about the finish of that fight.
Yeah, you know, as soon as he took me down, I was very confident that I'll be able to reverse it and get the submission. And when I had the head and arm, he started saying, no, 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 no. And I was like, yeah, 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 yeah. And I got the finish. But really quick, this fight I dedicate to my first manager, Kami Safdari. I'm pretty sure Cub Swanson is happy. All the guys are happy. I love you, Kami.
All right, 155. You used to fight at 145, 155. You look fantastic at 155. Who is it that you want to take on next in this cage at lightweight?
Anyone that's ranked. I don't know who's in charge of the rankings, but I better be on the top 10 next week. If not, give me anyone in the top 10. I was supposed to fight Adam Piccolotti. That didn't happen. There's a show in Russia. I have a big fan base in Russia. Let's go!
Sounds good to me. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Georgie Karakhanyan.
Well, here in Cali, Cypress Hill, insane in the brain, insane in the membrane, and insane Georgie Karakhanyan is feeling the love and enjoying another victory, and definitely looking to do more damage here at 155. He says at this point in his career, he's just going out there and destroying whoever's in front of him. He just took out Kiefer Crosbie. Let's go back to the fight desk and Jen Brown.
Thanks, Mauro. Hey, he's getting it done there. Picking up his 16th submission win. You got to give hats off there to Georgie. You know, you heard him say there he wants to be considered for the rankings, right, when they come out next week. He has looked so good since he's made this bump to lightweight. What do you think about the performance that we've seen thus far, and should he make it into those rankings?
He absolutely should make it into the rankings, but the reason why he's looked better is he was killing himself to get to 145. We've seen it as of lately. People that have gone up, Ryan Bader, okay, they have performed better at the higher weight class, as I sit next to the heavyweight champ, okay, and that's really what it comes down to. He's not killing himself to get down there. He's more durable. He has the energy to get him through the full 3 rounds, you know, and honestly, I think he's way better at 155.
Yeah, he looked great. You know, in cutting a lot of weight, you really have 2 fights that week. You have your weigh-in, and you spend so much energy making that weight, so when you finally do, you're like, oh, that was kind of the fight. You know, in the real fight, it's just kind of, it's fun, you know, and you get in a weird mindset. You know, so when you're not cutting that much weight, you feel good, you have fun throughout that whole week, and you come to fight and, you know, and show up.
How weird is it for you to hear that when fighters say the fight is the fun part?
Right? Yeah, no, I'm still getting used to it, but I know how hard it is to make weight. I mean, that is a fight in itself. So hats off to Georgie Karakhanyan, picking up his 31st professional win inside the cage tonight. All right, well, if you want to catch up on past fights 24/7 now on our Bellator Pluto TV channel, hey, it's no passwords, no payments. You just drop in and enjoy the show. Available now on your favorite devices. Look for us in the sports category. All right, well, coming up later on tonight on Showtime, Usman Nurmagomedov, he looks to keep his perfect 12-0 record intact, but his opponent, Manny Muro, he presents a different type of style matchup for him, guys. He likes to fight in the phone booth. He's going to keep coming. He's not going to quit. How is Usman going to handle that pressure, Josh?
I think he's going to handle it just fine. He's going to do what he does. Okay, what he does, he sticks and moves. He circles on the outside, and he stays long. Okay, with Mike Hamill was putting a ton of pressure, but you can see right here with Usman, he uses long kicks, uses his long jab. He's got a great straight left hand down the pipe. He does a very good job at switching stances as well and making you guess, and that push kick against Mike Hamill was money. Mike Hamill had a hard time getting in and closing the distance and getting to that phone booth like you were saying that Manny Muro had to get into. So honestly, I think he's going to handle it just fine. He trains with the best guys. guys. Okay, and but he's surrounded by top-level talent, and he knows what it takes, and nothing that Manny Muro is going to bring is going to expose him.
Yeah, he uses distance really well. One thing I would say that he's not a power kicker. He kind of slaps with his kicks, throws it up. If Manny can counter right off that with a combo right away, come forward, counter off those kicks, and, you know, put his hands on his chin, you know, he has a great shot of winning. You know, and Manny talked about how Usman has fired him up, that he's doing the right things now, where in the past he wasn't, you know, and so we might see a new Manny in there, fired up, ready to go, cardio on point, and looking to get a big upset.
Well, Ryan, you just hit on exactly what I was going to ask you guys next, which is the difference that we've seen in Manny Muro since the first time he was in the Bellator cage, taking that time off to where he is now. Josh, what do you think about what you've seen from him?
Well, it just comes with confidence. After you win one fight, Ryan, and then you win the next one, and you win the next one, then all of a sudden you start believing in everything that you're doing. What you believe in is what you're doing at the gym. You believe it then in the cage. And then you saw it with the Nick Newell fight. He was leaving his feet, flying knees, putting combinations together. There was never a moment where he felt like he couldn't win that fight. And that changes how you train, how you fight, and how you perform in that cage.
I've been there myself. You know, early in my career, it's all about believing in yourself. You have these doubts. Do I belong here? Do I belong to fight the best guys in the world? And there comes a point where something clicks, and you know, yeah, I am one of the best guys in the world, and you go out there and prove that, and with that confidence, you know, you walk out a different fighter.
All right, well, we look forward to seeing both these guys inside the cage, but for more on this lightweight feature bout, we're going to check back in with our own Gareth A. Davies.
Usman Nurmagomedov faces Manny Muro in an exciting collision at lightweight as the Dagestani, who seeks greatness in the sport, meets the Native American who says he refuses to be denied the ambitions that have grown since signing with Bellator. Nurmagomedov, the 23-year-old cousin of Khabib Nurmagomedov, one of the great of the modern-day era in the sport, is rated by Javier Mendez at American Kickboxing Academy as one of the most talented fighters and finishers, he says, he has ever worked with. That's in a list that includes cousin Khabib and former world champions Cain Velasquez, Daniel Cormier, and Luke Rockhold. They say Usman has the skill set and application that will take him to the sports summit. Undefeated in 12 fights, 10 of those by finish, the young fighter has an explosive stand-up game, honed from Muay Thai, allied with smothering Sambo wrestling that a phalanx of Dagestani family members seem to excel in, seemingly before they can even walk. But don't write off the dragon. Muro, a 34-year-old veteran, has shown durability in his fight career and has a pride which drives him. Both men have a pair of victories on their Bellator resumes, but tonight, an organization-o has to go for one of the men. Will the dragon breathe fire, or will the Dagestani dominate as he begins his climb up the lightweight ladder?
All right, Gareth, I wonder who speaks with more $10 words, Gareth or me, John?
Oh, you got him beat.
Great job, as always, by Gareth A. Davies as we get set for more action here as we have a matchup that is going to be contested at a contract weight of 180 pounds. Joshua Jones squares off with the tattooed terror, Jawani Cisneros.
And now we welcome to the cage, Jawani, the tattooed terror, Cisneros.
It's Tupac that's feeling the California love tonight as deja vu all over again, but why not? Riverside, California's Jawani Cisneros, also representing Millennia MMA and P-Town Boxing, has won 3 of his last 4 fights. 4 of his wins have come via first-round knockout. And a man who, well, covered in tattoos, and each and every one of those tattoos tell a story of a hard scrabble upbringing, overcoming so many trials and tribulations, but he's a fighter to the end.
You can take a look at all the tattoos. They don't mean anything. Johnny's one of the nicest guys you'll ever run into. Personal trainer, great man.
And now, making his way, Josh Jones.
Joshua Jones looking to strike Cisneros with a little bit of thunder tonight, he's won 2 of his last 3 fights. In fact, both combatants here tonight bouncing back from losses in their last outings.
Jordan Jones, I'm telling you right now, Joshua is a very, very good fighter. He's got that dad bod, and that's the one thing everyone looks at. So did Fedor. And I'll tell you what, Joshua Jones has got fast hands and he's got power in those hands. Johnny needs to be careful. Our tail of the tape for this catch weight, which is at 180 pounds. Take a look at the reach advantage that Johnny Cisneros has, but that should not be a problem for Joshua Jones. He has had that disadvantage throughout his career, 66.5 to 72.5. Let's see what happens.
Once again, it's time to hear the dulcet tones of Michael C. Williams.
Tonight's Bellator 263 prelims streaming live on YouTube. We welcome those joining us on both channels at Bellator MMA and Showtime Sports as we go now here at the Forum to a contract weight fight at 180 pounds. We're set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner. At 5'10", weighing in 179.2 pounds. His professional record, 13 wins, 7 defeats. From Riverside, California, presenting Johnny, the Tattoo Terror, Cisneros. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 5'8", weighing in 179.6 pounds. As a professional, 10 victories, 5 losses, fighting out of Long Beach, California. Introducing Joshua Jones. In charge, your referee, Mike Beltran.
Mayan Mike Beltran, the veteran referee.
Nice call.
About to officiate what I believe to be, in the words of the legendary pro wrestling announcer Jim Ross, a slobber knocker.
Love the slobber knocker.
All right, gentlemen, first round. You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Head on, let's go.
Bell in round 1. Jones in the red gloves, fighting out of the southpaw position. Cisneros in the blue gloves, and Cisneros immediately looking to tattoo Jones in the first few seconds of the fight as he just missed with a sweeping right hand.
Yeah, but the left hand, Joshua Jones has already landed.
Yes, twice, and the veteran Cisneros going for the takedown.
He's going for that takedown because he doesn't want to get hit exactly with that left hand. I don't blame him.
The veteran. But now Jones from bottom looking for a better position, but now Cisneros attacking the body with the right hand and now feeding Jones a steady diet of lefts.
Jackhammering with that left hand. This is where Johnny does his best work. If he can get in close and he can control the body position of Joshua Jones, he's got a good chance of winning this fight.
6 of Cisneros' 13 victories have come via former knockout. Now looking for that high crotch whip.
High crotch. Nice job by Johnny. Heavy hips by Joshua Jones kept that from happening. He still has the opportunity to do it, but you can see that Joshua Jones is going for a Kimura grip, which is kind of slowing down what Johnny's doing.
Jones has 4 submissions, 2 guillotine chokes.
Nice knee inside by Joshua Jones. Johnny was putting a lot of pressure forward. You saw he use that knee to gain that little bit of space, slide right out.
Lead right hand to the midsection by Cisneros.
And a big uppercut by Joshua Jones.
On the counter, and that inside leg kick took Jones off his feet momentarily. Pops right back up, though. 2 minutes gone here in the first, and Jones just missed with a sweeping left hook before securing the body lock, and Cisneros desperately trying to not be taken down, but he was.
He was.
But man, what action between these two fighters contracted weight of 180 pounds, and they've been at it from the get-go.
Which is a good thing there. It's contracted 180 pounds. Both guys knew they weren't going to make that welterweight division they normally like to fight at. Let's go into that 180 pounds. Don't kill yourself.
Might even fight better. Look at the action we're seeing.
Exactly.
Past the midpoint of round one. Jones from the top position, open guard of Cisneros, and just dropped an elbow on Cisneros' face, another elbow strike, and Jones has the distance, John.
Jones right now is able to posture, and he's able to bring down power with those shots. You know, he's not just tapping Johnny, he's actually popping him with those elbows.
4 of Jones' 10 wins have come via form of knockout. Under 2 minutes left here in the first. And Jones jacking the jaw of Cisneros with those elbow strikes. Now Cisneros with the body lock from the bottom and really just trying to protect himself.
He's trying to keep his head close so Joshua cannot land the big heavy elbow strikes that he's been able to at this point. When you see Joshua being able to posture up and his head is free, this is a bad position for Johnny Cisneros to be in.
Ground and pound from Jones, dropping the hammer fist, dropping left hands. Cisneros desperately trying to fend off the attack with 1:19 left here in the first round.
Johnny needs to get to his feet now. If you're going to go to your knees, get to your feet now. Don't stay there.
Coming up on the final 60 seconds of what has been a frenetic first round. And Joshua Jones continues to try to maximize his position. Cisneros trying to block those left hands from the back.
He is trying to block him, but right now it doesn't look like a lot, but that one hook that you're seeing with Joshua Jones, his hip pressure on Johnny is keeping Johnny from being able to get back up. He's just looking for Johnny to make a mistake. The reason he's jackhammering with that left hand, he wants Johnny to turn his head so he can sink in a rear naked choke. Now he's going to look forward towards the guillotine. Nope, going to mount.
Under 30 seconds left in the opening round, and now from mount position with Cisneros up against the fence. Joshua Jones looking to continue to drop bombs, and Cisneros deflecting those shots and now controlling Jones' posture, looking to survive the round with 10 seconds left in the opening frame. Ground and pound from Joshua Jones, and in round one, Cisneros couldn't keep up with this Jones. Mongolian chops on a Sakuraba.
Sakuraba, I was waiting for you to tell me.
Where he got it from was Hideyoshi Tenzan, the great Puroresu practitioner. Okay, Jones and Cisneros and Johnny, great start for Joshua Jones, and you have to admire the heart of the 41-year-old Cisneros, but he better go to plan B in round 2.
Yeah, he needs to change things up. He can't take that kind of abuse again. Joshua Jones has too much power in his hands, too much as far as the elbow strikes. Can't be in that position. Take a look right here. You see Johnny reach with that right hand. Here comes the counter left hand down the middle. Kind of puts him back in his tracks, and that's why he goes for that takedown. He felt that shot. Here's a leg kick that put Joshua Jones down. You see the mistake of him getting up with his hands down, almost gets clipped, but at the end, here you go with the Sakuraba Mongolian chops. Just going after it. Love that.
Pride
never die.
Thank you.
I hate when people say dies.
I know. Well, Cisneros, Jones, and the crowd looking to rally Johnny Cisneros with chants of Johnny, Johnny. Round number 2. Inside leg kick by Cisneros, but Jones returning fire upstairs.
Yeah, Jones trying to, if you're going to attack my leg, I'm going to make you pay with my left hand.
And Jones is pulling out all of the tricks.
Well, yeah, and this is where people get caught up by body types, styles and types. Just because you don't look like a Greek Adonis doesn't mean that you're not a dangerous and powerful.
Beautiful timing there on the entry by Jones into the double leg. And you're absolutely right, John. In fact, Joshua Jones is my hero.
Joshua Jones with a great level change, getting that double leg takedown.
Dad bods everywhere are impressed by Joshua Jones.
That's why Joshua Jones is my hero.
And Joshua Jones now trying to improve position, and for Johnny Cisneros again. John, easier said than done. What can Johnny Cisneros do here? Joshua Jones too fast, too slick.
That is exactly the difference right now that you're seeing. I think physically he's stronger, and he's actually faster, and he's just getting the better positions. He's always a step ahead of Johnny Cisneros right now in this fight. He just stepped over into mount. Nice job by Johnny to get that guard back.
Perpetual motion by the 31-year-old Joshua Jones, and I guess you wouldn't be surprised that his greatest strength is his cardio and what he calls ninja bleep. I know kids are watching.
Well, I'll tell you what, he had some of that ninja bleep with that kick.
Yes, he did. And he continues to dominate Johnny Cisneros. And you wonder just how much more Cisneros can take. And even for Joshua Jones, he is expending. I mean, his arsenal, he's emptying everything, and Cisneros still in the fight.
Joshua Jones looking at a lot of different things, going for the Kimura, looking at it, letting it pass by. But right now, he's still in that half guard position, and he keeps on going to the body, and all of those shots after a while start to just add up.
Talk about fight IQ. We might be seeing a mental level fight IQ from Joshua Jones in terms of how he's diversifying his attack. And now going for the choke. 10-finger guillotine.
Does have a 10-finger right. That's very good of you, Marley, to go. Let go of it because he knew he didn't have it. That right there shows fight IQ.
Thank you. Just past the midway point of the second round, and Johnny Cisneros has been mugged by Joshua Jones, and Jones now with back control now to the side and trying to find an opening for those long-range lefts.
Nice job by Johnny to try to switch the position, but he's turning into him in that fashion with the fence blocking his ability to do the technique he wants to. So he went into him, got caught.
It is all one-way traffic in a city that, well, let's not talk about the traffic.
Yeah, there's a traffic problem here. There's one in our cage right now, too.
Yes. For Johnny Cisneros, who on his back again against the fence, coming up on the final 90 seconds of what has been a nightmare round for the tattooed terror, Joshua Jones.
But you do have to give it for Johnny. The one thing he hasn't accepted with all the bad positions, he really hasn't been damaged that bad.
Good point. And now Jones tries to damage him with hammer fist, not flush. Cisneros deflecting and blocking some of these shots, but in the eyes of the judges, it's an avalanche of offense from Joshua Jones.
Right now, this is a one-way train. Nice job by Joshua Jones opening up. That's a big, heavy shot. Those are the kind of things that start to change fights.
Referee Mike Beltran watching.
Johnny,
is he going to rescue Johnny Cisneros? And he does. Joshua Jones with an offensive onslaught. And no offense to Mr. Jones, dad bods everywhere are rejoicing as Jones improves to 11-5 with his 5th victory via form of knockout. Never judge a tome by its cover.
I can't wait to hear it, boy.
But the cardio's incredible.
He does have good cardio. That's the one thing I said when he came in. You may have a dad bod look, but let me tell you, he can go and he can fight, and he has power. And take a look at that level change. Nice wrestling move, gets down. Beautiful double leg takedown, and from that point, look, all of this, little holding on to the fence right there. Referee Mike Beltran starts to slap his hand away, but Johnny, when he gets his arm trapped, as far as trying to go for that single, he's not able to block the punches the right way, and that's what referee Mike Beltran's looking at. He says, you know what, I've seen enough. You're just taking shots. Nice win by Joshua Jones.
And mad respect for 41-year-old Johnny Cisneros.
I'm done.
Anyone who steps into the Bellator MMA cage deserves everyone's respect. And Cisneros, crestfallen as he tastes defeat for the 8th time in his career and falls to 2-6 here in the Bellator MMA cage. Meanwhile, Joshua Jones improves to 4-2 in Bellator with his first win in the Bellator MMA cage via his striking.
Let me get a contract. 4-2 in Bellator. 4-2 in Bellator. Let me get a contract.
I think he deserves a contract after that performance. All right, let's get it back up to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mike Beltran steps in, waves off the contest due to strikes officially. 4 minutes, 15 seconds into round number 2. The winner by TKO, Joshua Jones.
No keeping up with the Jones in this one as he now records his 2nd consecutive win. And let's go to BJM.
I'm here with your winner, Joshua Jones. Joshua, you put on a hell of a performance there. You had some great positioning. Let's talk about the 2nd round because you went out there and that double leg takedown, you changed the levels, went for that takedown. Tell me why.
Man, he was committed to that, or he really wanted my head. I've had a few knockouts, so he probably figured I'm a smaller guy. I'm gonna just knock this dude out. I timed it, ducked under him, Los Alamitos, Cerritos College, body shop, sub fighter, wrestling all day. When I want to take you down, I'm gonna take you down. I don't care how big you are.
Let's talk about just what you had going there because Johnny's a guy that likes to stand up a lot. Your wrestling is at a different level and you were able to move your position on the ground when you had him down.
Yeah, you know, I think he actually wanted to wrestle me too. But yeah, once it hits the ground, that's my world. And I don't get tired when it's on the ground. So yeah, that was the highest likelihood that I'd win. That's what my coach told me to do. I listened to my coaches, took him down, ground and pound all day.
That fight right there makes you 4-2 in this Bellator cage. I am right, come here. So what is it you expect to happen? Because that was a catch weight at 180 pounds. Which weight class are you gonna go to? Are you going 185 or are you gonna wanna go to welterweight?
Welterweight, I'm a 55er, all right? I'm a 55er. I went up 2 weight classes. Like you said, 4-2. I wanna fight the upper echelon guys at 155. I think I match up well with them. I've paid for this, blood, sweat, and tears. 4-2 in Bellator. Bellator, sign your boy. I always put on a show, sign your boy.
Sounds good to me. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Joshua Jones.
He refers to himself as the chunky but funky ninja. He might have to change that name, at least the chunky part, if he goes down to 155. Let's go back to Jen Brown at the fight desk.
That's right. He's going to have to change that nickname for sure, Mauro. Great performance there by Joshua Jones. All right, well, coming up later on tonight on Showtime, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, we kick off the night with submission specialist Goichi Yamauchi. Now, he's got 20 submission wins on his resume, guys. 17 of those coming in the first round. Now, he's taking on undefeated Chris Gonzalez. So what do you think, Josh, about how these two match up tonight?
Well, I honestly believe that there's going to be the experience factor, you know, and that's the biggest concern. I mean, Goichi's got 30-something fights, and Chris Gonzalez got 6. Yep. And even though he's undefeated, the issue is, though, is that you know as well as I know, is that if Goichi puts any pressure on him at all, and he just automatically goes to his wrestling, he's falling right into where Goichi wants him.
When I was 6-0, I would do exactly that. You start getting hit, you go out there, oh, I'm going to go strike with this guy. You know, I have power, but you go out there, you start getting tagged up a little bit, and you fight on instincts when you're that new and fresh to the game. And so what he might do is go to his instincts, which is wrestling, take him down, and then it's right into Goichi's game, you know. And so he's slick on the ground. Obviously, he looks for submissions the whole time, and it only takes one mistake throughout that entire fight to get caught.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, Josh. Is this where he wants to be? He's known for that ground and pound, obviously going to that wrestling base that you talked about, Ryan. But does he want to be on the ground with Goichi Yamauchi?
No, because Goichi has the most subs in Bellator with 8 subs. No, I don't think he wants to be there. But what he can do is he's got the wrestling to keep it on the feet as long as he stays smart with it. You see, he's got good stand-up as he used against Roger Huerta, but he mixed in with the wrestling. He cannot afford to mix in that wrestling too much without falling into a submission.
What happens if Chris goes out there and has a great base on top and is raining down ground and pound and it's working? Does he stay there? Did you play with that fire?
I don't know. I'm asking you. Would you play with that fire?
I would. Yeah, if I'm winning there, but at the same time, it depends on how it's going on their feet. You know, Goichi has experience up there, but I believe Chris has that kind of wrestler, throw your head down power.
Yeah, it's the pressure, it's the control that wrestlers have, and he's a national level Greco guy in Chris Gonzalez. And so what happens is he feels the hips, he feels the movement of Goichi, and if he can able to slide away and get in and get out, feel like if Goichi doesn't control him well enough, he can just back away and get out of there if he can. I just wouldn't play with that fire in the first round.
Well, it's interesting because Goichi did tell us that for this fight, very uncharacteristic of him, he worked on his grappling. He usually works on his striking. It was his grappling he worked on. So what is the game plan, though, for Goichi? Is it to, go to the ground. I mean, we've also seen him in his stand-up, and that's pretty good as well.
His game plan always seems to be the same. He goes out there with the funky style, like karate style stand-up, and what happens is that people think that they get comfortable with him, and they end up shooting. We talked to all of his opponents in the fighter interviews, and they say, yeah, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to stand, I'm going to knock him out. But within 30 seconds to a minute, they're the ones shooting the takedown because the stand-up is really funky and weird. I mean, the same thing happened when he fought Michael Chandler. And he started throwing foot kicks, and he started doing little spinning back kicks. And next thing you know, Michael Chandler, who was normally known for knocking people out, he goes out there and starts wrestling him to death.
I see Chris putting him on the cage, on the fence, and that's how it ends up on the ground. I don't necessarily see Chris going out there and shooting a double leg takedown and putting him on his back. I see him trying to play that fence game, dirty boxing in there, and Goichi either, pulls guard or somehow they end up down on the ground right into his world.
It's a dangerous game to play, especially against the fence as well with Goichi.
Well, when we talked to both fighters, they both predicted a finish in the first round tonight. Now, Goichi says it's going to end by submission, while Chris, he says it's going to end by knockout. Who will prevail? We're going to find out later tonight. All right, Mauro, back down to you.
All right, Jen, thank you very much. And yeah, we continue to roll right along here at Bellator 263 with action in the featherweight division. The undefeated Usman Magomed Sharipov making his much-anticipated Bellator debut against Jonathan Kuros.
And now set to make his way to the cage, Jawani El Sancho Kuros.
Mexican-American Jawani Kuros feeling some of the love here at the LA Forum, and again, so good to have the fans back in attendance. And yes, we are following LA County COVID protocols. They are masked fans, but Jonathan Kuros looking to bounce back from a defeat in his Bellator MMA debut, John.
Yeah, look at Jonathan Kuros. This is a guy, he's pretty calm, relaxed when he's fighting. He fights long and tall. He's quick to look for submissions. He's a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he is going against a guy that is unbelievable everywhere when it comes to being an MMA. Good on the feet and good on the ground, so it's questionable of where Johnny thinks he can put this fight.
And he says he wants to prove how good his ground game is. Could be entering dangerous waters against a guy like Magomed Sharipov. And I'm sure Michael C. Williams is going to pronounce it the right way.
Oh, he'll get it right.
And now we welcome his opponent, Usman Magomed Sharipov.
All right, John, not bad. I think we got it. Magomed Sharipov is only 20 years of age. He is 5-0 with 4 wins inside the distance, including 3 submissions. And he's done this all in just over 2 years. And this is incredible for MMA. He had around 100 amateur fights.
That's the part of the crowd where you look and you go, oh, he's 5-0. No, he's got over 100 amateur fights. How do you have over 100 amateur fights? But, knowing where he's from, knowing his brother, knowing where he's training out of Tom's River at times, this guy has got the complete skill set. He is the real deal.
Younger brother of UFC featherweight Zabit Magomed Sharipov, and so
Now you're showing off.
Well, I'm trying. He again looking forward to making his Bellator MMA debut, part of the Dagestan Dynamos, and boy, they are looking to take over the sport.
Our tail of the tape for this featherweight matchup, you got to look at that age. As young as he is at 20, has a ton of experience in the amateur rank. That's a 14-year age difference.
Here once again is Michael C. Williams.
It's great to be back tonight once again here at the LA Forum as the Bellator 263 prelims now move to the featherweight division scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing the blue corner at 5'10", weighing in 146 pounds even as a professional. He's 3-4 from Fresnillo, Zacatecas, Mexico, presenting Jawani El Sancho Kuros. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner. At 5'11", weighing in 144.6 pounds, making his Bellator debut. He enters undefeated with 5 professional victories, no losses, fighting out of Mahatskala, Dagestan, Russia. Introducing Magomed Sharipov. And your referee in charge, Blake Grice.
Blake Grice, the third man inside the Bellator MMA cage for this featherweight fight. Magomed Sharipov, 5-0. Jonathan Kuros, 3-4.
All right, here we go. You ready? Ready? Fight.
The bell in round 1. Magomed Sharipov in the red gloves, Kuros in the blue gloves. Kuros looking to score the upset and spoil the debut of Magomed Sharipov, who trains under noted. Oh, caught!
A nice timing.
Kuros.
What you saw Kuros going for an Imanari roll.
Yes! And he almost rolled right out of the cage.
Kazan timed that well. That was just barely off.
So Magomed Sharipov looking to put an early stop to this fight. Kuros looking for that Imanari roll, and 3 of his victories, 1 via heel hook, so he does have a submission win, but he is being spinning back kick by Magomed Sharipov, but Kuros on the attack looking for the double collar tie. Kuros trying to prove that he can kick. Oh, right hand.
What's that rule? Moro, don't kick with a kicker.
1 minute gone here in the first round. Magomed Sharipov, as you said, John, spent some time in Tom's River. I was mentioning Mark Henry, who has guided many successful MMA careers.
Fantastic stand-up coach, Mark Henry.
And for Jonathan Kuros, representing Mexico, Brandon Moreno, of course, the first Mexican-born major MMA champion. And Kuros said he wants to prove how good his ground game is, as we mentioned, and, well, having difficulty trying to take it to the ground. Referee Grice.
Referee Blake Grice saying that that was a low blow. It came in contact with the groin area.
You all right?
Didn't quite see it.
Got some time.
Looked like it was up, but definitely could have touched the area coming up.
Yeah, okay? Kuros takes a shot to his huevos.
When we restart, you had him pinned here. Do you want to start back over here? Yeah. You want to start back on the cage? All right. Tell me when you're ready.
Yeah, that looked like it was on the leg to me.
Come here. We're going to get back in the same position. Wait on me. Wait on me. Everybody good? Fight.
And action resumes. 2 minutes gone here in the first round, and Magomed Sharipov turning the tables, has Kuros pinned against the fence, putting his weight on him.
Let's go, work.
Sharipov really putting a lot of pressure, trying to move the upper body of Kuros into a position where he can then come around through the arm or sweep that leg out. So he did.
See what you did there, shoving him in. Magomed Sharipov. It's like 2 last names put together.
Exactly.
Halfway through
halfway.
First round. As you went halfway with the name, and here's Magomed Sharipov working from the close guard of Kuros, and on the ground, Magomed Sharipov has 3 submission wins.
You look at what Johnny Kuros is now employing with that body triangle in the guard position. Not a good thing as far as being offensive. It's a defensive position. It's going to keep Magomed Sharipov in that position. So should be opening up that guard, getting feet on hips, looking for getting the hooks in the inside, elevator sweeps. Don't stay on your back.
You're watching featherweight action at Bellator 263. Featherweight's front and center in our much-anticipated main event, the $1 million Featherweight World Grand Prix final between double champion Patricio Pitbull and the undefeated phenom AJ McKee. That is coming up later tonight, live on Showtime.
Nice overhook by Johnny, holding on to that left arm of Magomed Sharipov. was trying to slow down any type of offensive attack. What you want to see right now from Magomed Sharipov is you want to see, okay?
You want to see him be put back up on his feet.
Exactly. I want to see him back on his feet. He's doing well up there, right?
Under a minute left here in the first.
At least that's what the referee wanted. This is really, if you're looking at it, Blake Grice, the referee, didn't do Kuros any real help in getting him up off his. This is where he's going to be in a more dangerous position. He was controlling position and posture very well on the ground.
Beautiful footwork and beautiful technique on display by Magomed Sharipov. He is looking for a highlight reel finish.
Kuros needs to be very careful of dipping his head down into one of those flying knees that Magomed Sharipov.
Overhand right drops. Kuros again helped by the knee tap as well. Kuros, old school butt scoop position. Blake Grice in firm command, and there's the Imanari roll, and again Magomed Sharipov dropping a shot, but hey, no risk, no reward, right, John?
Got to go for it. That's what he's doing. You got to love that.
So as we mentioned, a huge event, maybe the biggest in Bellator MMA history, coming up tonight. The best in the business enter the cage for the belt, the bragging rights, and yeah, the 1 million Benjamins. It's the $1 million Featherweight World Grand Prix final. The two-division champion, Patricio Pitbull, finally meets the 17-0 mercenary AJ McKee live tonight, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, only on Showtime.
Spinning back fist attempt here by Magomed Sharipov. There was some slow action in this fight, and there was some spectacular action.
Yeah.
You see Kuros trying to counter that. Here comes the Imanari roll, and just misses that kick. Now, that if that had landed, that would not have been an illegal kick by Magomed Sharipov, because those are bodies in motion, and he's throwing that kick while he's still a fighter in the opposition.
A Dickensian opening round. The best of times, the worst of times. But for Magomed Sharipov, I think he had the best time in the opening 5 minutes.
Oh, there's no doubt about that.
Ready? Well, round 2. They touch gloves, but Kuros would love to touch Magomed Sharipov more in this second round with his striking. Delivers the jab just out of range.
Magomed Sharipov is giving a lot of feints, and you're seeing Jawani bite on him, so he should be setting that back up to when he feints on it, then give that shot off of it.
And Kuros trying to bedevil Magomed Sharipov with his footwork. In fact, both of them utilizing a lot of footwork and feints.
Yep. Nice right hand landed by Magomed Sharipov. Jawani enters in to get in the clinch. We'll see if he can actually
double overhooks.
Or usually not the best position for you to get the takedown, but he does have the elbow down, which makes it where he's got some control of that arm.
Out of the cage.
You can take a look at the strike stats right now. 10 of 25 for Kuros, 12 of 27 for Magomed Sharipov.
So competitive in the numbers, but the numbers don't tell all of the...
No, because it's actually always the qualities.
What a takedown!
Beautiful body lock takedown.
Magomed Sharipov.
Let's see what he does from this position. Here inside control, moves to the back, starts to soften him up.
Trying to get to back position, delivering a nice knee strike into the floating ribs of Jonathan Kuros.
He's got that one hook already. He's just trying to push weight down on Kuros, trying to drive him the direction so he can then take the back completely. Kuros has a choice here. You can sit there and let him end up in this position where he's putting all this pressure down. You've got the choice. Are you going to go with possibly giving him the back trying to get yourself up, or are you just going to allow yourself to turn into him and go from that position?
2 minutes gone here in the second. Magomed Sharipov looking to get full back control on Kuros. Kuros doing his best to try to keep him off his back, but Magomed Sharipov slowly but surely has got one hook in. Not anymore as he delivers a couple more left hands.
No, but he's got a very heavy hip right on top. You see him putting that pressure down with his hips at times. That's driving Jawani back down into the, onto his knees on the canvas. All of this very taxing if you're the guy on bottom carrying that weight. Back to that single hook.
Magomed Sharipov, during his educational years, trained martial arts 3 times per day. He spent 12 years at one of the national academic institutions in Dagestan. 2 minutes left in the round. Kuros is a BJJ purple belt. Says his greatest strength is his heart. And he doesn't give up easily. And Magomed Sharipov trying to break his will, his fighting spirit.
Well, he had the ability to get his hooks in. He's decided not to do that. Right now, he's in a position where, you see, Kuros is holding on to one arm.
But is that a lack of experience for being 20 years old, or is it a tactic?
I think it's a tactic that he's playing, because that was there for him, and he should have felt it as he was moving. The opening was there.
Trying to open up Kuros with ground and pound from the back.
Right now he's landing good shots. All of this wrestling hip ride you see, pulls him back down, steps over. Again, that hook is there.
And now he's got it. He's got his hooks in, trying to flatten out Kuros. Looking for the choke from rear mounted. Kuros battling to stay alive in this round. 45 seconds left. A bevy of lefts. How much more is referee Grice going to allow? Not much. In fact, it is over. Magomed Sharipov victorious in his Bellator MMA debut as he picks up the TKO triumph, improving to 6-0 with his second career KO.
Very impressive win for Magomed Sharipov as far as just the way he was able to control position. Took his time, was not in any hurry. Very, very smart fighting for a young fighter. Let's watch right here. This is where that heavy hip ride is, but finally decides, you know what, I'm going to get my hooks. You see him pull him back, step over, and then he gets that right, then left hook in. Now he's in a position where he's just can open up with strikes, go for submissions. He starts opening up with that left hand. You see nothing out of Jonathan Kuros to stop it. That's why referee Blake Grice comes in, puts a halt to the action.
Magomed Sharipov conquers Jonathan Kuros here in his Bellator MMA debut. Another representative of the force of nature in MMA that is Dagestan.
Tell you what, those guys are taking over.
So just 20 years of age. We talk about the amateur experience, and again, around 100 amateur fights. And now victorious in his 6th professional fight, yet to taste defeat. And he wants to prove that he could be a force at featherweight. And we now go up to Big John McCarthy. Or Michael C. Williams first. We need to get the official announcement. My bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, referee Blake Grice waves off the contest officially. 4 minutes, 21 seconds into round number 2. The winner by TKO, Magomed Sharipov.
Now it's time to hear from Big John McCarthy.
I'm here with the winner,
Magomed Sharipov. At 20 years of age, he is incredibly talented. How did it feel coming into a new promotion in a new country for the first time? How much pressure did he feel?
Ты выглядишь очень хорошо. Насколько ты большую нагрузку себя чувствуешь и как вообще ощущения?
Hi, California. Hi, everything. Thank you so much for support. I feel good. And for me, only 20 years. I'm ready. And that's it.
You've been able to watch your brother compete here. You've been in Tom's River with guys like Mark Henry there. How important is that for your development as a fighter?
Ты видел, как твой брат, тренируется, как он развивается в спорте тоже, и тренируешься с одними из лучших там в Tom's River в Нью-Джерси. Насколько для тебя это важно?
My brother, как сказать? Спасибо моему брату.
Говори.
Thank you so much, my brother and my team. My big brother, Coach Mark Henry, Zabit, and my team in Dagestan fighter. Thank you so much, Mansur Chakayev, Amara Bakarov, and these guys.
These guys is very important for him.
Well, I want to tell you, that was an outstanding performance, way above what your age is as far as experience. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Magomed Sharipov.
So the 20-year-old Magomed Sharipov off to a successful start in his Bellator MMA career. We have much more preliminary action coming your way from the LA Forum. You're watching Bellator 263.
Guillermo the Jackal Weekendao takes the ring.
The Jackal unloads.
This guy's a genius inside the ring.
Standing in his way, he's one of boxing's most vibrant champions.
Jean-Riel Casimero. He's got personality. He's got power. He is a force.
Weekendao versus Casimero for the 118-pound world title. Live on Showtime.
The new Bellator MMA app is here. New look, new features, new fights. Watch live weigh-ins and prelims. Share your fight picks. Earn points and badges as you rank up to the heavyweight division. And stay up to date on events, rankings, and news. For all of the latest features, download the new Bellator MMA app. Available on the Apple Store and Google Play.
The epic finale of the Featherweight World Grand Prix is here.
The main event, the Grand Prix final.
Legendary 145-pound champ Patricio Pitbull.
Pure dominance.
Collides with the undefeated AJ Mercenary McKee.
The longest win streak in Bellator history.
For $1 million on the world title. Bellator MMA, live tonight on Showtime, where warriors rule.
Well, tonight, as Bellator takes over the Forum in Inglewood, undefeated star AJ McKee. He's going to compete in front of his family and friends tonight. He's fighting out of Long Beach, and he is getting the chance that he has been calling for, a shot at the champion Patricio Pitbull, and $1 million. That will close out the Featherweight World Grand Prix. It's all going down tonight, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on Showtime. All right, well, we have a stacked card from top to bottom, as you just saw. Now, in our second fight of the night, we've got former lightweight champ Brett Primus. He's taking on Dagestani fighter Usman Nurmagomedov. He's making his Bellator debut tonight, Josh. You are familiar with him. You've trained with him. What should Bellator fans know about him?
He will slowly stalk after you. He will walk you down. He will touch you up with his hands. He will let the head kick go, the inside leg kick go. And then when you put your back to the fence. He will probably drop that on a single or a double, or he'll get to the body lock, the double unders or the over under, and he will take you down and smash you. Just like they like to say, he will smash. He will smash you.
That's tougher said than done though on a guy like Primus. He's a physical specimen. He's very strong, and he loves that hard leg kick. He'll take your leg off. He's great off his back. He's going to throw up submissions, and you still got to worry about him on his feet. He hits hard. I mean, look at the 2 fights he had with Michael Chandler. They showed that he deserves to fight the best, and he is one of the best.
No, he is definitely one of the best in Brent Primus. He's great off of his back. He's got heavy leg kicks. He's got outstanding power. If he's dropped Michael Chandler, he rocked Michael Chandler. He also hurt Michael Chandler and took his title with the leg kicks. He's done a lot of great things, but I'm telling you right now, Islam has all the tools to beat him because I've trained with him for years. The control, the top position. I feel that Brent Primus could fall in that same thing that happened when he lost his title to Michael Chandler by being stuck on bottom, trying to shoot submissions, because Islam will control that top position and dominate the top position and make sure that he takes those submissions away.
So I was going to say, he needs to get back up. We've talked about that. Primus shouldn't be comfortable there on his back. How does he do that then tonight, Josh? If he's down there on the bottom, he's not getting those submissions, how does he get up? It's not easy.
I've always said this. It's always been the same way. It's sweep, submit, get up, or submit, sweep, get up. You try and hit those 3 things in transition, and if you can't get it, then you kick them back and you get up. Look, he's very flexible for such a big guy. Okay, that's really impressive because I'm a small guy and I'm not that flexible, And so when you find people that can have that much muscle and that much strength, they're generally not flexible. But you see here, he hits the Golgoplata on Wild, and when he gets that position, he soaks it in, boom, taps. Beautiful job. He gets the back. He finishes everyone when he gets to the back position. He almost finished Michael Chandler a couple times as well. He was on the neck, on the back. He spent a lot of time there, wasn't able to get the finish. But look, one thing I can say about he's physically strong, he's very good grappler, and he's competed against some of the best black belt jiu-jitsu guys, practitioners in the world, and made them look like they were white belts.
Sometimes you got to turn to your knees and get up. I like to use that. Go to my wrestling base, get on the fence, and stand up. You can't overthink it. So if Primus uses those, sweeps, go for a submission, look for a sweep, or honestly, get to your knees and stand up, get it back to your feet, and try to knock this guy out.
That's the one thing I will say is Islam isn't as, I would say they're equally as good in jiu-jitsu, but Brent Primus can go ahead and turn the back to focus on getting up, but Islam will try to get him back to the ground.
Well, you talked about those leg kicks earlier, too. We saw them so effective against Michael Chandler. When we asked Primus if he was going to use that as a game plan tonight, what did he say?
Absolutely.
That's right. Well, it should be a good one. All right, we're really looking forward to seeing how that plays out. But let's get back to the fight action. We're going to send it back down to Moro and Big John. Mo?
All right, thank you very much, Jen. And yes, we are going to get back to it as we have another Bellator MMA debut. This time, Gaji Rabadanov takes on Daniel Carey at a contract weight of 150 pounds.
And now set to make his way to the cage, Daniel Scary Carey.
31-year-old Daniel Scary Carey, coming off a knockout loss to a resurgent Aaron Pico at Bellator 238 in January 2020. He said losing always sucks, but every loss comes with an opportunity to learn and get better. He was able to get up under such a high-class wrestler, so you do take whatever positives you can get from a loss.
Well, absolutely. You take a look at his fight before that, Aaron Pico, and he fought a guy that is just a killer on the feet in Gaston Bolanos, and he was able to get that sub, that guillotine, and he had a big win there and really was confident coming into the Aaron Pico fight. And Aaron is just stepping it up and becoming a different fighter under the Jackson Wink camp. So there's no shame in that. He ended up getting hit with a shot. Anyone can get hit and clip and go down. That's what happened to Daniel Carey, but I expect big things in this fight. This is a good matchup for him. His skill set matches up well with his opponents.
Went from working 12 to 16 hours a day in a factory to committing to a full-time fighting career, and he looks to move over the 500 mark here in Bellator as he welcomes the debuting Gaji Rabadanov.
And set now to make his way, Gaji Rabadanov.
Gaji Rabadanov, the 28-year-old, in his 21st professional fight, but his first under the Bellator MMA banner. Again, and stop me if you've heard this one before, John. He's from Dagestan.
I won't stop you then. You know, the real question here is, Rabadanov is very relaxed in the cage, and he sometimes gets to the point where he knows he's winning, and he doesn't go for that finish. That's the real question here. Does he turn it on trying to get the finish if that opportunity arises? It doesn't mean it's going to arise, but if it does, is he going to go for it? That's what I'm looking for.
He had around 50 amateur fights. Unlike the fighter we just saw, Magomed Sharipov, who had around 100 amateur fights. But this fighter has a lot of experience as a professional, feels his wrestling is his biggest advantage.
Pull it from Dagestan? How rare.
Wow, wait a minute.
He does fight well on the feet, though.
The legend, Usman Nurmagomedov, who really put Dagestan on the map. And you know what? He may just, in fact, turn out to be as good an MMA trainer as he was a fighter.
He just might be, because he has taken over for his father, and he has got just a stable of killers.
Rest in power, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, as we go to the tail of the tape.
You look at this tail of the tape for this contracted weight of 150 pounds, 71 to 67, a 4-inch reach advantage. That is something that Daniel Carey is definitely going to have to deal with in this fight.
Here's Michael C. Williams.
We thank all those joining us late night in the UK, live on BBC iPlayer, as we continue now here at the Bellator 263 prelims with 3 5-minute rounds at a contract weight of 150 pounds. And now first, introducing the blue corner. At 5'7", weighing in 149.1 pounds. His professional record, 7 wins, 4 losses. He fights out of Fort Smith, Arkansas, by way of Oakland, California, Daniel "Scary" Carey. And across the cage is adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 5'8", weighing in 149 pounds even tonight. He makes his Bellator debut, bringing 15 professional victories, 4 defeats, 1 draw. Fighting out of Mahatskala, Dagestan, Russia, presenting Gaji Rabadanov. In charge of referee Frank Trigg.
Frank Trigg will be the man in the middle for this fight, contested at a contract weight of 150 pounds. Gaji Rabadanov in his first fight in Bellator. Scary Daniel Carey in his 7th fight in Bellator MMA. The bell in round 1. Rabadanov in the red gloves, Carey in the blue. And Carey, in his scouting report about his opponent, said he's a stud wrestler, has no real glaring weaknesses, and he'll trade in the pocket. But Carey said he feels he has the advantage on the feet and that this will not go to a decision.
I think in some ways, as far as power, from what I've seen of their fights, Daniel Carey's right. He does have the advantage as far as the power, but it is the range that Gazi can fight at, and the way that he controls. This is what you're seeing right now as far as, I really like what I'm seeing out of Daniel Carey. He's trying to control the position of the fight. He's the one trying to lead the dance right now, and that's a good mark for him to take advantage of.
Carey putting on the pressure on Rabadanov, as you mentioned, John, trying to find an opening. Oh, but it's Rabadanov drawing first blood with that straight right hand.
But you notice how relaxed Rabadanov is. He is just very composed, very relaxed. He doesn't take a lot of big chances. This is the way he fights.
And Carey took that well and remains composed and looking for a way to close the distance. As is Rabadanov, as they stand face-to-face in the center of the cage.
Nice hard front kick. You saw that Rabadanov kind of took that and turned his body, made that thing slide off so it didn't take full impact.
Front kick there, switch kick by Carey. Of course, you attack the body early, as he just did with that liver kick. Make that early investment, reap the dividends as the fight progresses. 2 minutes gone in the opening round.
Carey really utilizing that front kick as a range finder and kind of keeping Ramadanov back.
Again, Carey intercepting the combination by Ramadanov with the front kick by Ramadanov.
That was a good check hook. They opened up that, and a nice right hand by Ramadanov.
Midway point of the opening round. Ramadanov again with the left hook. There's Nurmagomedov and Javier Mendez. The Ayatollah, a.k.a. Talk about a power couple right there in the corner.
That is a power couple when it comes to the fight world.
2 minutes left here in the first round. And again, the kick, but countered by Ramadanov with the right hand that landed. And Ramadanov finds a home for the right again as Carey tries to keep him at bay with the front kick.
But you're seeing that Ramadanov is now starting to control the range, and that's why that right hand is landing. Carries more towards his back foot as Ramadanov keeps on pushing just a little bit forward.
You're right, closing the distance. As we come up on the final minute and a half of this first round. Lead right hand by Ramadanov.
One of the things I want to point out right here is take a look that Ramadanov has not attempted one takedown attempt. This is what everyone thinks when they hear Dagestan. They think, oh, all these guys are going to be just like Khabib. They're not. They all fight differently, but they're all good.
And they have Javier Mendez in the corners. Ramadanov caught him with the left right hand. And what a debut for Gaji Ramadanov as he records a scintillating knockout. And we talk about wrestling. Well, see, there is the power of this Dagestani dynamo, and Gaji Ramadanov just rocked Daniel Carey.
I'm here. I'm coming.
He's saying he's here and he's coming. There's no doubt about him being here. Let's take a look at what happens here. This is what you start to see, that Daniel Carey comes in and goes for the kick. Here comes the left hook counter right on the button. You see him go down. Ramadanov just follows up. Actually takes his time, doesn't rush. Watch the kick. Left hook counter right on the button.
It doesn't get prettier than that.
That is as good as it gets. One more time. Just watch the setup, and he takes that kick well. He knows it's coming, but he knows that he's within range to land that hook. And then the next couple of shots, it's over. You see him turning. That is not the way you fight. Real speed. Watch what happens here. Boom, boom. That's how fast it happens.
With timing that would make a metronome envious, Gaji Ramadanov just scored a highlight reel knockout of Daniel Carey. That's how you make a first impression.
That is how you make a first impression. And this is what we're talking about is, again, all of these guys from Dagestan, they all fight differently. They all have strengths. They all have things that they're better at. Some are better at striking. You're going to see Nurmagomedov later on in the main card. Look at, he is a stand-up fighter. He's got great wrestling, but he is a stand-up fighter at heart. That's where he wants to be, same as you're seeing right now for Ramadanov.
We'll be right back. The Bellator Middleweight Championship.
The dreamcatcher, Gegard Mousasi, has cemented his storied legacy. Now, the legendary reigning middleweight champ defends his title in a 5-round MMA battle. When he faces suffocating submission specialist John Salter, who's won 8 of his last 9 bouts in the Bellator arena. Bellator MMA, live Friday, August 13th on Showtime, where warriors rule.
Cuban legend Guillermo the Jackal Ugandao takes the ring.
The Jackal unloads. This guy's a genius inside the ring.
Standing in his way, he's one of boxing's most vibrant champions.
Jean-Riel Casimero. He's got personality. He's got power. He is a force.
Ugandao versus Casimero for the 118-pound world title. Live on Showtime.
The epic finale of the Featherweight World Grand Prix is here.
The main event, the Grand Prix final.
Legendary 145-pound champ Patricio Pitbull.
Pure dominance.
Collides with the undefeated AJ Mercenary McKee.
The longest win streak in Bellator history.
For $1 million on the world title. Bellator MMA, live tonight on Showtime, where warriors rule.
With the official announcement, here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, it comes to an end. 3 minutes, 57 seconds into round number 1. The winner by TKO, Gaji Rabadano.
Gaji Rabadonov has won 7 of his last 8 fights, and he is going to be talking to Big John McCarthy.
Gaji Rabadonov, that was just an impressive performance. You came into this cage, you took your time, you were very composed, and when given the opportunity, you unloaded with that left hook. Talk to me about the finish.
Он говорит, ты зашел очень собранный, ты выждал момента, и когда появилась возможность, ты закончил этот бой. Расскажи, пожалуйста, об этом.
Да. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you. Да, я готовил, я прошел большой тяжелый лагерь 2 месяца, готовился, больше делал акцент на бокс, и моя заготовка сработала.
Yeah, I did a great camp. I was focused on the boxing this camp. I did a 2 months camp, and what I prepared, it worked out.
Yeah, that boxing definitely worked out. Let's talk about your camp and the people you're working with, guys like Javier Mendez, one of your mentors in Khabib Nurmagomedov. What does that do for you and your confidence coming into this cage?
Расскажи немного о своем лагере. Ты тренируешься с Хавьером Мендесом, с такими людьми, как Хабиб, Ислам. Насколько это дает тебе уверенности в бою?
Yes, of course. First time, I want to say a big thank you, my friends, my brothers. I love you guys. I want to say thank you, my great team, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov School, and team AKA Coach How, Coach Ron, Thomas, Gektar, everybody, guys, AKA, thank you for your help. Thank you so much, guys. And I want to say thank you, my village, small village, in any time is with my heart, Дахадайский район, село Кунки. Всем большой салам алейкум. Я еду с победой домой. Thank you so much, guys. Bellator, thank you for giving me a chance. See you soon, guys.
Sounds good to me. Ladies and gentlemen, that was an outstanding performance. Give it up for Gaji Rabadonov.
Well, that small village is going to be holding a huge celebration after a scintillating Bellator MMA debut for Gaji Rabadonov. What's poppin'? Sports Center Top 10. That was a highlight reel KO. And what an all-star camp. Let's go back to Jim Brown at the fight desk.
Well, thanks, Mauro. Hey, we talk about making a statement in your debut. He certainly did that. I mean, perfect performance there.
Yeah, Gaji, all he did was he just was patient. You know, people were expecting him to come out swinging, come out, show the inexperience. Guess what? When you train with top-level guys, they teach you in the gym. Don't do that to me, okay? Because otherwise, I'm going to lay you out.
You learn real quick.
You learn real quick, and I think it showed in the cage. He came out, he was patient, he was timing off the kicks. And what he did was he waited for Kerry to go ahead and set up. He shot it raw dog, as we call it. Yeah. He basically threw the kick with no hands up, no setup of the punches, counter with that left hook. beautiful on the button, and the follow-up was also flawless. He didn't just rush in. See how he took his time? He was choosing his shot. Those inexperiences from other fighters, right? That they jump in and just swing and miss, and it gives their opponent a chance to recover. He didn't do that. He came in, stepped over the top of him, and then chose his shot properly.
Yeah, he's very composed, and he was reading, his opponent throughout that fight. He threw that kick, and you can see, right, when he's throwing that kick, he was throwing that punch. And that's the absolute worst time to get hit in the jaw when you're on one leg and you're leaning back. And like Josh said, you got to set that thing up. You got to hide that kick behind some punches. That didn't happen, and he ended up getting KO'd.
Well, Gaji picking up his 16th win. Hey, that town in Pakistan he was talking about, they're going to be celebrating tonight. All right, well, coming
up. It's also that gym called AKA.
Yeah, it's a small. Oh, yes, that is true. Josh giving a shout out to his gym. All right, well, coming up later on tonight on Showtime, the winner of the Featherweight World Grand Prix will be decided. Undefeated phenom AJ McKee says he's been waiting for this moment his entire life. But Patricio Pitbull says, it's my legacy you're going to be a part of. So much is on the line tonight. 2 belts, $1 million, and of course, bragging rights.
Undefeated 17-0, AJ McKee.
McKee got the key and the game on lock. I run this shit.
The pound-for-pound top dog is Patricio Pitbull.
#1 in the world.
All those guys think they can beat me, but always they fall.
What a right hand! And Patricio Pitbull makes Bellator history!
Don't take it personal, Pitbull, but I got a leash in a kennel waiting for you.
The mercenary claims another victim!
Ready to take you to the pound, homie, whenever you want it.
Let's go! Pitbull, bring me my motherfucking belt! Fuck that. I am the champion, and nobody will take those belts from me.
I'm like, this little dude's about to come get in the cage with me, like...
You already lost. You will see that. You will see that. Come. I'm ready for you.
I'm gonna kick your ass just to say I did it, homie.
If you want to be king, you're gonna have to kill me.
No more guessing. No more speculating. It's time to find out who's the greatest featherweight on the planet.
We will find out who the greatest fighter is on the planet in that featherweight division. Now, when you look at both of these fighters' road to the finals here on this bracket, guys, you see who they faced, you see who they beat. Did one impress you more than the other, Josh?
No, they equally impressed me. I mean, both of them had great performances. Patricio had a little bit rougher go in that very first fight because he fought Juan Archuleta, who was on a 19-fight win streak, and that went 5 rounds, but he dominated every aspect of that, and then he ended up dispatching the other 2 guys getting into the finals. Realistically, and then AJ did the same exact thing. He basically didn't go the distance, but he actually had some great fights, got some great finishes. He was tested against Campos, where he hurt his knee, and then he had to go out there and fight and battle through it, that adversity, and then also get the submission win in the 3rd round. Great job by him. So, honestly, they both impressed me.
Yeah, I mean, you're going against different opponents in different stylistic matchups, Obviously, AJ, he was a stud throughout the whole tournament, went out there and got finishes, and not run-of-the-mill finishes either, That fight with Darion Caldwell really impressed me because I know how good Darion is, and when I saw that, I go, man, this guy's for real, and now he gets to go up against the pound-for-pound champion, and we'll see how real he really is.
Well, this will be the toughest test, undoubtedly, for AJ McKee, but for Patricio Pitbull, he's got 36 fights to his resume. Is this the toughest test for him so far in his career?
Yes and no. He fought Daniel Strauss, who was very similar to AJ McKee in terms of length, in terms of wrestling, in terms of the speed and the punching power and all of those things. But he was also at a different stage in his career. He is more mature now. He's more patient now. Back then, he would stand in front of him and just throw down. And that's not the Patricio that we see now. He is patient. He's someone that just stalks and waits. He takes the center of the cage. You can see with Juan Archuleta. Juan kept jumping in and out, and boom, he kept hitting him and timing that right hand. And Juan is known for getting the takedowns. Well, guess what? Patricio was taking him down at will and stuffing all of his takedowns. You see here with Pedro Carvalho, he was able to just touch him up. Every time Pedro stepped in, hit him with the left hook, and then finally finished him with the straight right. Emmanuel Sanchez, it just was not his night that night. He got dropped right there with the right hand, but then when he went down, he jumped right into the arm and guillotine, and I gotta tell you right now, Patricio's got one of the best arm and guillotines in the game. He gets on your neck, it's over.
I would say AJ is the most talented guy he's faced, you know, but Patricio, he's proven time and time again that he gets better, he evolves, you know, every single fight. And if you watch Patricio's fights, in the beginning he was more boxing stance. Now he's kind of doing a karate. He's waiting for those little mistakes, you know, that AJ can potentially make, being, you know, a younger fighter and very athletic and very explosive. You know, you use that athleticism and jump in, all of a sudden Pitbull's coming in at the same time, and he was waiting for that.
When you look at who AJ faced in those 3 rounds, was there anything that really stood, those 3 fights, was there anything that stood out to you that's going to give you an indication of how he's going to handle this fight against Patricio?
Well, I look at the Pat Curran fight. I think that's probably the most telling way that he will probably potentially fight this fight. When he fought Pat Curran, he knew that he was faster, he knew he was longer, he stuck and moved, he stayed on his bike, and he just outpointed him for the 3 rounds. So when he fought that fight, that's kind of what I'm expecting him to do now, because you want to know why? He doesn't want to run into that buzzsaw. If he makes one mistake, Patricio will touch him, and it could be over, and his dreams will be done. Not that he couldn't make another run back, but right now he's trying to solidify as being the featherweight World Grand Prix champion.
He doesn't want to run into that buzzsaw, and he wants that $1 million, and he wants that belt around his waist. So he's going to put himself in the best position and use his best attributes to win this fight tonight. You know, and if that's sticking and moving, using his jab, using his length, then so be it. You know, he's going to do that for 5 rounds, and he's going to walk out with a belt and $1 million check.
All right, Josh, let's look back at AJ's road here real quick. I want you to take us through his fights, because some of them were very quick, like this one.
Yeah, this was a really quick, I believe it was an 8-second knockout, jumped in, but this is the thing. You saw him jump in with a little bit of a flash kick and then a straight punch down the pipe that landed and dropped him and finished. This was the fight where he hurt his knee by jumping in and jumping out too much, and he tweaked his knee and ended up having to have surgery after this, but he was still able to grit through it. He showed his grittiness. He showed his tenacity to get that. Then with the Darian Caldwell situation, he got taken down easily, but he made the best of the situation and he attacked the submission that he knew was going to be there. He knew it was going to be there, so when he jumped right to it, as soon as he went to the ground, he jumped right to it, was able to get the finish against Caldwell.
Yeah, I go back to that every time. I know how good Darian is, and when I saw that, I'm like, holy cow. You know, and watching those highlights and everything, I think the most dangerous place he was in when he was doing the backflip after every celebration. I'm like, don't do that in a tournament.
When he's doing it too, I'm not going to lie.
Don't do that in a tournament. I always cringe when I see fighters do that. I'm like, no, don't do that.
The gymnastics background in me is like, no, be careful. You're just like fun, you know. Well, you know, for him, a lot of those fights do end quickly, so he's not expended all of his energy. The one thing, though, the takeaway, when I hear you guys talk about both these fighters, the thing that excites me the most, thinking about this main event final, is that either guy can win. And that's what I think is the big takeaway for everybody at home, is we are going to have a fantastic fight tonight.
That's what's making everyone excited about this. That's why they're going to have huge numbers tonight in terms of turnout, in terms of views, everything like that. People are pumped about this fight tonight.
You know where people are pumped as well? Over in London. Because we're going to talk to our Gareth A. Davies one more time. He's going to break down this main event for us as well.
There is a very special feel about the headline event tonight, as champion Patricio Pitbull makes the 6th defense of his title against AJ McKee in the final of the Featherweight Grand Prix. Without question, notwithstanding the $1 million on the line for the tournament winner, it is one of the most anticipated matchups in the history of Bellator MMA. The Brazilian has become one of the sport's most formidable fighters. Now on a 7-fight winning streak, the divisional leader has developed a blend of efficiency, power, precision, and indeed momentum in his mastery of the 145-pound division. Also currently the Bellator champion at lightweight, the Natal native and 36-fight veteran told me that he has a deep respect for his opponent, but that McKee's inexperience will be the challenger's downfall tonight. Californian McKee, meanwhile, undefeated in 17 Bellator fights with 12 finishes and one of MMA's most compelling young masters, has never gone beyond 3 rounds. But he has a versatility, explosiveness and fighting IQ that has made him one of the rising stars of the sport. The mercenary, to give the Los Angelian his cage sobriquet, says his coronation tonight will be the start of his takeover in becoming the face of the sport. But can the young tyro find his way past Bellator's pugnacious pound-for-pound king? Here in London, we cannot wait for this contest.
The poet laureate of MMA, Gareth A. Davies, ladies and gentlemen. And yes, the longest title reign in Bellator MMA history against the longest winning streak in Bellator MMA history. Well, we do not have to wait much longer. It is coming up, the main event of Bellator 263 live on Showtime later tonight. And our final preliminary bout here at Bellator 263, it will be in the flyweight division. Vanessa Porto taking on Ilara Jawani.
And now ready to make her way to the cage, Ilara Jawani.
Jawani turned 37 last Sunday. She is 1-1 in the Bellator MMA cage, has won 3 of her last 4 fights, but looking to bounce back after losing to Kana Watanabe via 3rd round TKO at Bellator 237 in December of 2019.
Yeah, in that fight against Watanabe, I think what Jawani really figured out was she needs to keep that movement, because when she decided to plant her feet, it was the strength of Watanabe that started taking over in that fight. I think she learned a lesson from it. She's got a great striker and a great ground grappler in Vanessa Porto going against her today. So we're going to see what style she decides to deploy to get this win.
She says she has definitely improved a lot on the mental side of MMA, and that's been the biggest improvement, but she's also worked and improved her skills both in striking and grappling, and looking to give herself a belated birthday gift.
And now her opponent, Vanessa Porto.
Vanessa Porto, one of the OGs of women's MMA with over 30 professional fights, making her pro debut in 2005. The former Invicta FC flyweight champion, indeed one of the most experienced female fighters in the sport today. She took this fight on just 2.5 weeks' notice. She had her 4-fight winning streak snapped in her Bellator MMA debut, dropping a unanimous decision to Liz Carmouche at Bellator 256 in April of this year.
Yeah, she did. She came out there and just wasn't able to get the job done against Liz Carmouche, but that's not an easy thing to do. But look, she has been in the cage, be it in Invicta or other promotions, where she's gone against the very best. Ladies like Barb Honchak, Roxanne Modafferi, Jennifer Maia. She has taken on the who's who. This is a person, black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, great Muay Thai. She's got the full game. The only thing she needs to do is turn it on.
And has a notable victory over former UFC champion Jermaine Durandami. So, indeed, an impressive resume for Vanessa Porto, who wants to, well, earn her first victory here on the big stage.
Our tail of the tape for this flyweight matchup in the women's division. 37 years of age for Vanessa Porto. We were talking about all those fights she's had, but she hasn't accepted a lot of damage. Does the 27-year-old Ilara Jawani get it done against her?
For the final time during the preliminary portion of Bellator 263, it's time for the official introductions from Michael C. Williams.
Tonight here at the LA Forum, Bellator MMA is set now to conclude the 263 prelims with 3 5-minute rounds in the flyweight division. Introducing first the blue corner at 5'3", weighing in 125.2 pounds. Her professional record, 9 wins, 5 defeats. Fighting out of Natal, Rio Grande do Norte, Brazil, presenting Ilara Jawani. And across the cage, her adversary out of the red corner at 5'2", weighing in 125.6 pounds. As a professional, 22 victories, 9 losses, from Jaú, Sao Paulo, Brazil. Introducing Vanessa Porto. In charge, your referee, Jason Herzog.
Jason Herzog will referee our final fight during what has been an entertaining preliminary portion of Bellator 263. Vanessa Porto against Ilara Jawani. Bell, round one. Porto in the red gloves. Jawani in the blue. Porto fighting out of the orthodox stance. Both of them unorthodox, and both of them swinging wildly to get started.
Jawani really going after this, trying to get into Porto, make her open up. She landed a couple of good left hands, but Porto is now answering back with a counter right.
Kick, and then the right hand by Porto found its mark, with Jawani coming forward. A lot of frenetic energy here in the first minute. Both of them now 37 years of age, but a lot more experience for Porto, as Jawani in the Muay Thai plum delivering some knee strikes. Porto breaking apart, but she ate some shots.
She definitely ate some shots, and there were some nice knee strikes by Jawani.
Jawani with the overhand right over the top that lands. Inside leg kick by Porto. Three-punch combination by Jawani.
You can already see, take a look at the left side of Porto's face. She's starting to already wear a little bit of that damage. It's starting to mark up a little bit, a lot of red to it.
Beautiful 1-2 combination by Jawani.
This was what we thought was the difference factor in this fight. Could be the speed of Jawani compared to the experience of Porto.
6 of Jawani's 7 wins via knockout or submission have come in the opening round, and good start for Jawani against a decorated veteran in Vanessa Porto. 2 minutes gone in the first round. Meanwhile, Porto has 12 wins via first-round knockout or submission, including 9 submission victories. It's been an entirely stand-up affair here.
It has, and that was a beautiful kick to the body. That right kick to the body by Jawani.
And Jawani countering effectively, but there was a sharp jab that popped Jawani's head back by Porto. Counter right hand by Jawani. Terrific action here in the first half of the opening round. Should we be surprised, John?
They saw all the other fights and said, we got to go for it. This is great right now. Love all the action and love what I'm seeing from Jawani. Porto needs to figure out when she's coming in those counters that she's trying to land. Not walk straight back.
Flyweights always bring it in. Well, women mixed martial artists always attempt and usually successfully steal the show, and Ilara Jawani looking to steal the show with his dynamic striking.
Look at those numbers already. 22 of 56 for Jawani, 15 of 31 for Porto. Nice low leg kick by Jawani. That was a solid kick. It's always when you hear that little thud, you know that shin going across the meat of the leg.
Jawani, part of the Pitbull brothers camp. And of course, Patricio Pitbull, the patriarch, with his brother Patrikian. Jawani putting it on Vanessa Porto.
Porto's going to need to figure out how she's going to change this up, because right now, she is not being offensive as far as she's waiting. She's trying to get the counters, but her counters are not finding the mark because she's not fast enough to get them there.
And Jawani used to be the person who worked the front desk at the Pitbull Brothers gym. And she has really blossomed as a fighter since she began training with the Pitbull Brothers. Has that same never say die mentality inside the cage, like so many from that camp.
Well, if there's a place that you can go, you're going to learn how to be a fighter. Pitbull Brothers is definitely a great place if you're in Brazil. Porto wearing a lot of the damage. Take a look at her underneath her right eye. Her nose is bleeding.
That left hook landed on the cheek of Vanessa Porto. As you mentioned, her face beginning to show the vestiges of battle here. 15 seconds left in a first round that has been a very good one for Ilara Jawani. Most of those punches were blocked, but Porto looking to send the judges a message in the final seconds of the round, but it's Jawani who ends up in top position, and I think she ended up on top in that opening round.
No doubt, she ended up on top at the end of the round, and she ended up on top as far as the score of that round. She was landing the better shots. The one thing that she needs to do more, straighten out some of those shots. A lot of them are looping around the sides. She needs to start coming down the middle.
Come on.
Take a look at some of these situations here. Here comes that left hand in. Big one over the top. And then she gets into the Muay Thai plum and starts throwing knees to the body. Both of those hit. Starts to swing her to the side. You see Vanessa trying to bring the elbow up. The other knee comes to the body. But the speed of Jawani is starting to give Vanessa Porto some problems, and she is not returning her shots. If you're going to be a counter fighter, you've got to figure out when she's throwing, I need to step in, crush that space on her, but extend my shot out there so it touches her and makes her pay. Jawani coming up with the kick just at the end of her foot. A lot of good opening round action by Alara Jawani.
Round number 2 in the Bellator MMA Flyweight division.
Boy, just missed with that high kick again.
Jawani began training capoeira at 10 years of age. Took up Muay Thai at 14 and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at 17. Porto, she began training Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at 18 years old. She's a BJJ black belt, and again, we talked about the fact in her 16th year as a professional, and strikes landed in round 1. No surprise, the edge belonging to Jawani.
No doubt about it. You see Porto trying to kind of stalk her down, but she's unable to get Jawani basically on her back foot. Every time Porto starts to come forward, look to the fact that Jawani is circling out. That means that she's really in control of this. She understands what's going on, but that was a beautiful right hand by Porto.
Jawani utilizing footwork, trying to come up with an angle to score on Porto, and she goes right down the middle, splits the guard, lands the right, just missing with the right hand there. Calf kick by Porto. 90 seconds gone in the second.
I'm starting to see just a little bit of deeper breathing from Jawani. She's starting to open up her mouth a lot more, so she might be getting a little bit tighter, but Porto really needs to stop following her. She needs to set her up as far as the direction she wants her to go and then attack her from that side.
High-level MMA. 2 women now 37 and giving it all they got here in the Bellator MMA cage. And Porto so far getting more of Jawani's shots than Jawani is getting of Porto's. And again, Jawani with that 1-2, keeping it textbook and keeping it efficient and successful.
Yeah, she's been very efficient in this. In fact, she should start going to the 3s and 4s, because you're noticing when Porto has those strikes coming at her, she's just bringing her hands up. There is no counterattack, so it's always the 3 and 4 that will start landing.
Calf kick on the outside there by, a short left uppercut that jacked the jaw of Jawani as Porto takes Jawani down, but a quick scramble here, and instead it's Jawani looking for the guillotine.
Well, she's looking for the guillotine, but she does not have that.
What a scramble.
It is, you see her head to the side. That's going to make her a little bit weak, and it's not going to have that pressure that's going to be able to put Porto out. She feels it, but she's safe in this position. Jawani needs to be smart about not burning her arms out, squeezing too hard, trying to control that head. And once the head pops out, start opening up that guard, start moving. There she goes.
Porto trying to maximize top position, trying to get back into the fight, but The craftiness of Jawani. Body position on display as well, controlling the posture of Porto. Porto keeping her head down now, trying to posture up.
Well, one of the, right now, Porto has the opportunity to start to posture and start to land big shots. But just controlling position and landing little shots is not going to get her back in this round.
No, short elbow strike across the jawline of Jawani, but Jawani controlling Porto in the closed guard. Porto with a couple of right hands to the body of Jawani, but she has to increase her offensive output.
That was a nice elbow strike by Porto, but it did give Jawani the ability. Now it's a little bit tighter.
Jawani going for that guillotine choke.
How bad is it? How bad is her arm from that first one? That's a big question mark.
Porto has been submitted twice in her career.
She got her hand on that arm, trying to get a little bit of air.
Jawani looking for their submission win. Putting the squeeze on Porto.
Jawani's arms are shot.
And blood on the body of Jawani. So blood coming from Porto, who may have been cut.
Well, her nose was blood before in the first round.
That's what it was. Under 30 seconds left in the second round. Porto survives the submission attempt. Nice elbow strike. Another elbow strike by Porto, and she's coming on here in the final minute of the second.
She is, but let's go back to the fact that she was in a deep guillotine.
Yes.
That was tight. So if we're looking at all this ground action, what was the most significant thing that happened?
Submission attempt by Ilana Jawani as we go to the third and final round.
Água, água. Toma água, toma água, toma água, toma água.
Here we go. This is Porto coming in, trying to close that distance. You see that it's Jawani that actually grabs to get that, but she doesn't get the double underhooks, and that's how Porto just swings her down to the side. Jawani tried to come out on top, did not happen, but she did have a guillotine. This wasn't that tight, but the second one was. When she got back up and she jumped into that guard, trying to extend. Notice she had that hand for a little while, was trapped. Then Porto was able to get it out, was able to beat herself through that guillotine, landed a couple good elbows. But I'm looking at it, I've got Vanessa Porto really needing to do something special in this round because I have her behind.
Third and final round here in the Bellator MMA Flyweight division. Vanessa Porto, who again took this fight on just 2.5 weeks' notice against Ilana Jawani, who has been highly effective with her striking combinations, including the one we just saw.
She is, and during the break, you saw her corner rubbing on her arms, trying to get that blood and that lactic acid out of there. We'll see what effect that guillotine had on her arms, and if she's back in this round. Right now, she's throwing great shots.
Jawani switching stances.
And right now what you're seeing with Porto, this is what happens when you take a lot of shots. She's stalking and she's looking, but she's not initiating because she's taking a lot of shots, and you keep on telling yourself, just give it a second, just give it a second. You can't do that. She's got to go after this. She is behind in this fight.
Jawani said one of the biggest challenges of her life was convincing her family that a career in MMA was what she wanted. They've got to be proud with what she's accomplished thus far. 9-5 as a professional, looking to move to 2-1 here in Bellator MMA.
9-5, taking on over a 30-fight veteran in Porto. Just giving up a lot of experience. In the back of your mind, when you step foot in that cage, you're thinking, man, this is a person that's been with all of these ladies that I have really admired over time. She's proven that she belongs.
Vamos jogar com a cabeça aí, Vanessa. Vamos jogar com inteligência. Vamos jogar esse golpe, batendo e saindo, batendo e saindo. Vamos lá, batendo e saindo, batendo e saindo. Batendo e saindo.
Look at
Porto going for the takedown here. Jawani needs to work. Don't let her get you down. Use that balance point. Start landing strikes. Nice job.
What a takedown by Porto, but a great job of Jawani to bounce back to her feet.
This is where Jawani lost it against Watanabe. She got into these clinch situations and was out-muscled. We'll see if Vanessa Porto can do the same thing. She got her hands clasped. She can get the takedown.
Flyweight champion Juliana Velasquez, I'm sure watching with vested interest here. A pivotal flyweight matchup. Again, Vanessa Porto, a former champion in the all-female Invicta FC promotion. Helped launch that promotion, and a great job by Shannon Knapp and Julie Ketsy, everybody involved with Invicta FC, and Porto needs to get busy.
Yeah, she really needs to start posturing up and start landing again. Big elbows, big punches. You've got to show that you're trying to finish this fight. Right now, with her head on the sternum area of Jawani, it's not a position for her to have an advantage. Now that she gets her head over the top, now she's in a position she can do damage, but you see Jawani going for the armbar.
They went to the same hairstylist, and it can be a little confusing in this position, but yeah, we've got Porto now stacking Jawani. A struggle ensuing here on the ground. A minute and a half left in the fight.
Notice where Porto's hands are at. On the ground. That's not the place you want them to be. They should be somewhere either on the biceps, shoulder, chest area. All of this is great binding by Jawani. Jason Herzog saying not enough. Wow, get back on your feet. And that's because Vanessa Porto in the top position was basically stalling the fight.
And a wasted opportunity for the veteran. A minute left in the fight. Porto being battered and bloodied by Lana Jawani. Under a minute left. Catapult right hand from distance by Jawani again, putting together a three-piece.
Very nice to see that three-piece instead of that one. A nice job of hiding the kick behind the hands.
Half a minute left.
Porto with a huge throw and a nice job.
Takedown right to back. And Porto looking for the dramatic finish. Vanessa Porto looking to come from behind, but the clock is her biggest enemy.
Right now it's on the chin, so there's just more pressure on the jaw than her being put out. Jawani is not in danger of being put out.
High trauma at the end, and Ilara Jawani thinks she's done enough. And I tend to agree based on what we saw in these 3 rounds, John.
Yeah, in the 3 rounds, you got to give the first 2 to Jawani. You could end up giving Porto the third based upon that big takedown there and the attempt at the rear naked choke, but not enough to get the win, in my opinion. Some of the action from the 3rd round. This is when Vanessa Porto really started going for these takedowns. Tree tries to treetop this leg. You see her picking her Jawani up, getting her down, but Jawani being able to roll through and bring herself back to the point of getting back on her feet. And this was the takedown in the center. This was a beautiful takedown, double leg takedown by Porto, getting towards the back, trying to hook in. Nice roll through, tries to hook in the rear naked choke. You see her with the arm across. It's her left arm that starts to put her in danger, but that right arm, that locking arm, you see the double baseball grip by Jawani. That's keeping her from being able to lock it and put a lot of pressure on it. That's why it wasn't effective in the end in putting her out. And that's why Jawani was able to survive.
With the official decision, here is Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go now to your three judges at cage side. Your first judge, Derek Cleary, scores the fight 29-28. He sees the fight for Porto. Your second judge at cage side, Jackie Dinkin, scores the fight 29-28. She sees the fight for Ilara. Your third and final judge at cage side, Chris Craig, scores the fight 29-28, seeing it for the winner by split decision, Vanessa Porto.
Well, that is the way you close out the undercards. A fantastic performance there by both women. Strong showing, a split decision win for Porto, picking up her first win in the Bellator cage tonight, celebrating with her coaches. But again, a fantastic performance from both women there in the featherweight division. All right, well, before we wrap up our coverage of the preliminary bouts, we want to pay a tribute to a cause that is very close to our Bellator family, because even our heroes need our help.
Very special guests here to talk.
I'm a former Marine Corps veteran, police officer, and collegiate athlete. I played in the NFL for a total of 8 years.
Our unit was sent to rescue 7 POWs back in 2003.
As a kid, I always wanted to play football. I was able to live that dream and play in the NFL.
Served in the United States Army for 6 years, and you may or may not know me as a mixed martial arts champion.
We are MVP!
When I was in Iraq and Afghanistan, I was great at my job.
You think it's tough on the battlefield?
It was even harder coming home.
MVP brings combat veterans and former athletes together that have the same struggle.
Leaving the battlefield, the football field, it leaves behind a lot of physical scars, but more so emotional scars. You lose your team.
I miss my boys, you know, and the moments and all the stupid shit we did. You know, a couple years ago, I wasn't really looking forward to growing old. Quite often, we need love outside of our occupation.
I was missing the camaraderie, the brotherhood, the sisterhood that I had in the military.
Our job at MVP is to give you your team back. We start with 30-minute workouts. Just give these guys a burn again. Get them to be beholden to their brother or sister on their right or left again. But the magic is we have a huddle. We sit down on the mats and we talk it out. We talk about everything.
If you swallow your grief, you're going to make yourself sick. And I feel like this is a safe space for everybody to grieve.
Like, all of us have been dropped in the team, and it became our environment, it became our survival, it became our will to succeed. And it took finding MVP before I was able to accept my successes.
MVP gave me back that locker room and feeling again.
I wasn't afraid to cry in front of 40 guys in the room, but when I did, they all understood. MVP saved my life.
Straight up, MVP did save my life.
Everywhere I go, I preach about MVP. Instead of my family being worried now because of MVP and what it's allowed me to do, now I'm helping others.
We lose 22 vets a day to suicide. That is not okay. That number needs to be 0. They've had our back. It's time we get their back. Who's got my back? I got your back. Who's got my back? I got your back. Who's got my back? I got your back. 1, 2, 3. MVP.
So happy to be joined right now by NFL insider and my former broadcast partner here on Showtime,
Seeing you, brother.
Mr. Jay Glazer. And Jay, first of all, as a staunch mental health advocate, I want to personally thank you for what you're doing with merging vets and players. Your first location 6 years ago right here in Los Angeles. You've just opened your 7th in Dallas. Why did you decide to start MVP?
Man, you just talked about it, right? This is a difficult world we're living in right now, and our warriors, they come home and the system may be broken, but they're not broken. But we got to remind them that they're not broken. They're empowered. So, you know, the biggest thing we could really do for each other, for our mental health, is give us a team again. So not only do we have a team, like you said, I have a team with football. I've had a team with fighting. Bellator will always be my team. And because of Bellator, we were able to open up New York, Chicago, and we'll continue to expand out and make sure that they know we have their backs.
Now, I think it's all in the name, but Who is Merging Vets and Players for?
Man, well, it's for our combat vets. It's for all our former athletes. It's for Olympic athletes. You know what also? It's the first foundation that's actually out there for our fighters. You know, our fighters, they lay their gloves down in the cage a lot of times, and they don't know where to go. Man, you have a team. And the one thing I will tell every fighter who's sitting backstage right now, everybody who's listening to this at home, these fighters, these football players, our warriors will say to us and say to them, you guys save us when we're in war. We're in a battle. We can't wait to get back there and watch fights, watch footballs. So, man, they've saved them. It's time for us to save them.
Amen. What is the message that you want everyone watching to take away when it comes to Merging Vets and Players, my friend?
Look, listen, we talked about a team, right? And we talked about being empowered. And our combat vets, they go overseas and they do incredible things. And they come back over here and they're like, oh, I'm different. I want them to understand, no, embrace being different. Everybody in here, don't try and be a face in the crowd. Be the damn crowd. And when you could do that, great things happen. I want to remind them all of their greatness, and we always have a home for you. So you're a combat vet, you're a fighter, you're a football player, ex-athlete, whatever it is, we got your back. We always have a home for you.
Your passion and commitment is giving me goosebumps, brother.
Appreciate it.
NFL insider Jay Glazer, Merging Vets and Players.
Hey, if you see anybody with an MVP shirt on today, walk up to them. They have served our country. They have served you. They are heroes. Remind them that they're heroes.
You're also a hero. Jay Glazer, Merging Vets and Players. Back to Jen Brown.
Well, thanks, Mauro. Jay Glazer doing so many amazing things. If you want to show your support and to have the back of our vets, go ahead, please visit vetsandplayers.org/donate today. Give whatever you can. Every little bit can help. Jay Glazer, just, you know, hats off to him and what he's doing. Now, Ryan, Josh, I know both of you guys have done things to give back to the men and women in our armed forces, but just talk about, you watch that. I mean, it's hard not to even be moved to tears when you see what Jay has done in terms of saving the lives of these vets. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, I've actually been at Unbreakable, his gym here in LA, and I've actually helped coach that team in terms of taught a workout for them and been part of that huddle at the end and some of the emotional stories that go on. And it's not just our veterans, it's former Olympic athletes who they've seen their careers just dwindle away because of injuries and things like that, as well as football players, and I'm sure there'll be some fighters later on down the road and other athletes as well. And so to see what he's done, he's very passionate about this, as you can see. But it's been great to see him have the success that he's having, getting it out there in a bunch of other cities.
Yeah, I've been around a lot of combat vets, and the biggest thing is camaraderie and purpose, right? But I really haven't thought about the athlete angle, you know, about the fighters, Olympians, and football players, that when you're done, I mean, you kind of have a lack of purpose, you know? And so, you know, to put those two together and get that team back, get that camaraderie back, get that purpose back. You know, I've known Jay a long time. He's always been a giving person, you know, but I think he's finally found that thing, you know, that obviously he's very passionate about and loves, and it's just a perfect storm.
Well, it's great. We've got a lot of former vets in attendance tonight, and they came for a great show tonight, right? Let's talk our main event here real quick before we get off the air. I mean, $1 million is on the line. You got undefeated AJ McKee going up his toughest test in Patricio, the champ Pitbull. What excites you most about this fight, Josh Thompson?
The fact that we don't know who's going to win. Like, there's always, in almost every fight, you think to yourself, this guy's got the bigger upper hand. No. AJ's got the athleticism, the youth, the speed. He's got power. He's got all of those tools. But Patricio has the X factor when it comes to his mindset, when it comes to the punching power, when it comes to just the experience in that cage. Simply put, nobody knows tonight who's going to win, and that's what makes this fight exciting.
Yeah, 100%. And we've talked a lot about AJ tonight because we already know how good Pitbull is. You know, we don't need to talk him up. And I think this could be AJ's coming out party, or maybe he has to go back and regroup, you know, get a couple more fights, get better, get more experience, and come back and try it again. But we know how good Pitbull is. You know, we've seen him do it over and over again. He's proven himself. And so I see this as, we know how good AJ is, but is he good enough to dethrone the pound-for-pound champion, 2-division champion, come out with a belt around his waist and a big fat check.
The good news is, guess what? We're going to have that answered by the end of tonight. Well, here's a reminder of the stack card that we do have coming your way here at the top of the hour on Showtime. Now, to kick off the night, we've got submission specialist Goichi Yamauchi. He's got 20 submissions. He sits at the top of the Bellator record books, and he's taking on an undefeated Chris Gonzalez. Looking forward to that one. And, of course, we've got the return of the former lightweight champ Brett Primus taking on Bellator newcomer and Usman Nurmagomedov. Islam hasn't lost in over 12 years. You're going to want to stick around for that one for sure. And, of course, staying in the lightweight division, we've got Islam's teammate, Usman Nurmagomedov. He looks to keep his perfect record intact as well when he faces Manny the Dragon Muro. And then, of course, in our co-main event, the former Bellator title challenger Emmanuel Sanchez. He's ranked 8th in the featherweight division. He looks to shake things up in the rankings. He wants a big win over the second-ranked Mads Burnell. It's going to be a great stacked card. I can't say it enough. All right, well, that wraps up our preliminary bouts here. We're going to be live on Showtime. We're going to see you over there in just a few. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Epic finale of the Featherweight World Grand Prix is here.
The main event, the Grand Prix final.
Legendary 145-pound champ Patricio Pitbull.
Pure dominance.
Collides with the undefeated AJ Mercenary McKee.
The longest win streak in Bellator history.
For $1 million on the world title. Bellator MMA, live tonight on Showtime, where warriors rule.
The new Bellator MMA app is here. New look, new features, new fights. Watch live weigh-ins and prelims. Share your fight picks. Earn points and badges as you rank up to the heavyweight division. And stay up to date on events, rankings, and news. For all of the latest features, download the new Bellator MMA app. Available on the Apple Store and Google Play.
It is said that the present is what defines the future, and that the future is built on the foundations of the past. While there are those who live their lives fearing what the future may hold, there are those of courage who simply are driven by it. To say that Patricio Freire is a dominant force is an understatement. The most decorated fighter in Bellator history and a 2-division champ.
Chandler gets whacked by Patricio Pitbull. You talk about unpredictable. The referee is intervened, and Patricio Pitbull has done it. Makes Bellator history.
The man they call Pitbull holds records for most wins, fights, and knockouts.
Oh my God! A lightning strike come from behind win for Patricio Pitbull. Man, that is a left hook. There he goes. Goes for it. Just continues to rewrite the Bellator MMA record books.
On Saturday, July 31st, Pitbull will enter the cage looking to prove that he is the greatest featherweight in the world, that he is the present. He now faces his toughest challenge to date, defending his title against a man people are calling the future.
This is all she wrote. Another finish for AJ McKee.
AJ McKee, the mercenary. Crafty as he is dynamic.
AJ McKee is the red glove. He drops Karakhanyan. AJ McKee.
The current record holder for the longest winning streak in Bellator believes he has what it takes to dethrone the champ. To take what he's been calling for.
Man, I've been calling for that belt since I stepped foot in this cage the day I signed pro.
A shot at the 145-pound title.
This is the easiest fight. Me going out there crossing my T's and my I's because I like it bold, you know what I'm saying?
2 careers standing at a crossroad, brought together by the same mission, to be the last man standing in the world's toughest Grand Prix, to be the king of the featherweight division.
I am the best. I know I am the champion. I'm knocking him the out.
This is Countdown. Patricio Pitbull versus AJ McKee.
Everyone knows Bellator because of me and my brother. And now the media is telling me, now you are the best featherweight in the world.
This guy is definitely on the pound-for-pound list.
I know I'm the best.
Believing you are the best is one thing, but proving it is what matters. For Patricio Freire, he has proved it over and over and over again.
Oh my God! Having countered, and a lightning strike come from behind win for Patricio Pitbull.
All guy that I face on the cage is personal.
Now he's teeing off. Pace is in big trouble. The edge of it, and that is it. Big shot, this fight is over. Big right hand by Pitbull at the left. One thing he has is a very powerful guillotine, and there it is. Hanging on for dear life, and it's done. Patricio Pitbull finds a way.
This belt means my dream.
He has a great guillotine. There he goes. Goes for it. This is how he beat Henry. Corrals it over. He got it. And Patricio Pitbull has climbed the mountain again.
I'm going to defend it. I'm going to put everything in the ring. That's it.
AJ McKee, senior, junior, you guys think you know the answers, but the Pitbull brothers always change the questions. July 31st is going to be the best performance of Patricio Pitbull's life. He's at the top of his game. Here we go. Good, dominate the time. We keep scoring here. Make it nasty, we make it dirty.
He talk a lot of him and his father.
He's saying my time's over. My time's just begun. No one has a win over me. No one has a belt with my name on it, and no one's going to have a belt with my name on it.
He from Compton, but he ain't from Brazil.
So talking like that is not a problem. I'm gonna take his boy and beat his in front of you.
Yes, there it is. Nasty. Love it.
Long Beach, California's AJ McKee is young, brash, and brimming with confidence.
Everybody's talking about the division's on lock. Well, guess what? McKee's got the key, and I'm opening it back up.
All traits that come along with having an unblemished 17-0 MMA record. For the McKees, it's all in the family. And AJ's father, Antonio, a veteran of 38 pro fights himself, is also his head coach.
So here, jump into it, lift him up, jump into it.
AJ was born special, and it didn't take long for the elder McKee to realize his son's calling.
I realized at age 5, I knew he was going to be a fighter. He was just different.
I like to circle to it a little, because then I can put more pressure.
Okay. He wrestled, but he didn't take the wrestling. He wanted to punch something.
This one isn't going to go that far. Barnes in big trouble, and it's over.
The crazy part is he's able to separate being a coach, being a father. So when we step in these doors, it's now coach.
This is pressure, but this here, I'm going to lock it in, and then I'm looking to lock my hands up here. Being a coach and a father is real simple for me. This has been my walk for the past 25 years. This is a father-son moment. It's very special. You're not going to keep looking at me like this. Shut up in front of the camera. I don't really have feelings. I'm very anal about being the best coach in the world, to no matter who it is I'm coaching. Son, friends, doesn't matter. All right, y'all ready for exhibition? Go down. I'm just obsessed with perfection. Not. That's the old McKee.
This fight, this is where the MMA world, everyone gets to see what is AJ really capable of.
I don't believe in ifs. If your mom had balls, your last name would be different. This dude's a monster. So, let's speak facts. When he gets the belt. So they get to watch me get beat up by my son. You know, it's just the beginning of his career. He's young. He's good looking, he's vibrant, he's exciting. What more can you ask for from a champ? You got yourself a hero here. He's the hood hero.
When the brackets for the Bellator Featherweight Grand Prix were being assembled, Patricio Pitbull was given the choice to sit out and wait for the winner. Or he could enter the tournament himself, but he would be putting his belt on the line each time out. For the double champ, the choice was easy.
I put myself in dangers to prove that I'm real the best.
You want to touch gloves? Do it now.
Pitbull's gamble has paid off.
Just got tagged by that right hand from the champion Pitbull.
Over the course of the tournament, the champ successfully defended his title 3 times. The final 2 opponents were dispatched easily, both in the first round.
Pitbull looking for the guillotine choke. He is out. Pitbull goes to the tournament final as a featherweight champion.
This would set up the Grand Prix final with none other than AJ McKee.
That's the perfect final. Pitbull, many years in Bellator, breaking a lot of records. AJ McKee is young. He's undefeated, and he believes he can beat me. It's good to prove he's wrong.
While Patricio Pitbull's road to the featherweight Grand Prix final was about continuing to assert his dominance over the featherweight division, for the young gun AJ McKee, it was about proving that he belonged.
First round of the tournament, I was like, man, let's make a statement, not only to the division, but to the rest of the world.
AJ McKee, southpaw, red glove, right away, drops Karakhanyan. AJ McKee, faster than a TikTok video. AJ McKee just starched Georgie Karakhanyan.
I want my belt. Let's go!
Second round, you got Derek Campos, who's just a bull, man. The biggest dark horse in the tournament.
AJ dominated the action of that first round.
Oh, and Campos is down. AJ McKee diving in.
His mentality, kill or be killed.
Working for the bottom.
Oh, the tap out.